What's going on, people? We are live here in Milwaukee for the RNC. Look at this shot. How wide can we get here? And we're with the great Trump. Look at him go. Let's hear him. So much energy here. People are hot. People are ready to go.
I'm so happy to be here. I've been in enemy territory all day. MSNBC, CNN. I mean, literally, I've done. This is my 17th interview of the day, and to end it with the best one with somebody I love and who loves us is beyond awesome. And we love you guys. We're having so much fun. Honestly, the heart and the soul out there at this convention is beyond good. The love across this country right now is unbelievable. I mean, what happened the other day is almost unthinkable. We lost somebody that half the country, I think it's more than half the country, I think it's a lot more than half the country, would crawl over broken glass for. And to be here and be able to celebrate the greatest president ever. And guys, we are going to win. We are going to win on November 5th, and we're going to have the greatest victory in the history of the United States of America.
Yes! Okay, so here's what I've been wanting to ask, because I know you are a believer. I know your wife is a believer. You often post about your belief in Christ and in God and miracles. Do you believe it was a miracle?
Yes.
Do you believe that God's hand was on your father?
Yes. I didn't like competitive shooting. 130 yards with a modern rifle is a chip shot. That's like a 3-inch putt for a golfer, right? You do not miss it. You never miss it. And the fact that that bullet grazed his ear, the fact that he moved his head to the side, slightly turned, the fact that he put that immigration slide up on the screen, and just make no mistake, that immigration slide was supposed to be used at the end of the speech, and he just felt like doing it early. So he had to turn at the screen and look up, and that's when the bullet grazed his ear. It is absolutely an act of God that kept him here today. And, you know, I don't wear that stuff on my sleeve. There's a lot of people that do. But that's pretty deep. And, you know, there's one other powerful moment at the time. There was a flag hanging behind, between two cranes, and it flipped up over itself, and it looked like an angel. I mean, not like a little bit like an angel. It looked exactly like an angel. And I don't know. Sometimes you got to read the signs of the world. And he's here, and God bless. I think my father's in iconic territory where he was going to go down as one of the greatest presidents in history, but I think he's truly, when we win in November, I think he's going to go down as truly in the leagues of Jefferson, in the leagues of Washington. They've tried everything, guys. They've tried everything. They've tried to take him out. They've tried to kill our family. They've tried to bankrupt him. They've turned the entire judicial system against him. They've weaponized the entire world against him. They've played every unfair trick. They've cheated. They've lied. They've dispersed. They tried to slander. And then last week, they tried to kill him. A couple days ago, they tried to kill him. And I think he's going to be revered in history as being one of the most resilient people you could have ever possibly seen, and one of the most resilient people to ever live in the great White House. I really believe that in my heart of hearts.
Listen to the people. Listen to the people. Fight. Yeah. Okay, so I've got to ask a question that I can ask very few people, because there's very few people who can call themselves Donald Trump's son. And it must really mean, it must have been wild to experience that moment. It must have been unbelievably emotional. Now that you've had 72 hours to process it, maybe a lifetime to process it it'll take, but what was it like living through that from your experience?
Well, I was there with Laura, and I was there with the kids, right? And we hear the shots break on TV, and obviously we see him go down.
You weren't at the rally?
No, I wasn't at the rally. I was watching it live
Yep.
on TV. I mean, we almost saw the assassination of a former president on TV. I mean, think about that. Think about what that would have done to our nation. I mean, civil wars have been started for less than what happened there, and it's hard to possibly fathom, that moment on live TV being broadcast to the entire world. But, first you're in total shock. Then you just care that he's going to get up, and you're praying that the guy's going to get off the ground. He got up, he put his fist in the air and said exactly what you guys just said: fight, 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 fight.
You hear the people.
And when he turned around, you saw the blood on the side of his face, right? So you knew he was hit, but you didn't know if he was hit in the torso. There's too many bodies around him. There's too many people around him. So at first you're concerned. When I finally spoke to him about an hour later, he was in the hospital. He called me, cracked a little joke, and I knew, I knew that Donald Trump was back.
I'm sorry, Eric. What was his joke? Can you
tell
us what the joke was? Trump's in the hospital. He's just been shot in the head. What's the joke?
Listen, it had something to do with Evander Holyfield, all right? And so after this, I knew my true father was back, right? And don't get me wrong, everybody was shaken up, but I'll never forget him saying, we are not going to change a single thing about the convention. We're not going to change a single thing. He was here the exact minute he was intended to be here, despite the fact.
Yes.
I mean, the guy's the greatest fighter I've ever met. I truly believe that he's the greatest fighter I've ever seen. There's no one that has a backbone. There's no one who could have dealt with a millionth of what he's taken. And by the way, the most incredible thing about him, he didn't need to do this. You know, listen, Obama was a community organizer. It's like, what do you do from a community organizer? Like, you stay in politics the rest of your life. Like, DJT would live a much better life going out there playing golf, hanging out at Mar-a-Lago, you know, living a great life. He could do anything he wanted. He could go sit on a boat in the middle of the Mediterranean and chill out and sip mojitos or whatever, you know, Benny would be doing, you know. And he doesn't want to do that. He wants to fight for the United States of America. He wants to fight every single day as unpleasant and as uncomfortable as it can be. And, you know, it's just a remarkable trait, and I think history will reward that.
I would be drinking Trump wine, Eric. I'd be drinking the Merlot.
Of course you
Trump
would.
wine, yes, okay.
Nice
So,
plug. Thank you.
So your father was already a hip-hop icon, but now 50 Cent is doing performances with your dad on the screen behind him in meme format with the words bulletproof. Are you in favor of a new campaign slogan, bulletproof? Trump, Vance, bulletproof.
Well, guys, think about the irony of this whole thing, right? So they go and they indict him over total nonsense. The second they indict him, he raises about $400 million, more money than we could have ever dreamt of in 2016. He raises about $400 million, right? And then he gets his mugshot, and everybody's like, you shouldn't take a mugshot of the president. That's disrespectful. That mugshot raised another couple $100 million. And literally, you had entire communities in this country, including the African-American community, and thank you to all the African-American people here in the audience, and there's a lot of them. But literally, he becomes an icon of a community that might not have backed him in 2016. All of a sudden, they're saying, hey, you know what? I've seen this game before. They've done this to my community. I've watched them for years do this exact same thing. And you see his poll numbers rise in those communities. You see his poll numbers rise in Hispanic communities, in impoverished communities across this country. And then you see those cases get thrown out. So not only did they raise him hundreds of millions of dollars, not only did he win the vote of the very communities that they've been attacking for years and years and years, but then the lawsuits that they brought that were criminal in the first place, most of them get dismissed. I mean, it's like a Christmas gift before Christmas. It's kind of remarkable. And I think in retrospect, they're going to come back to regret some of these plays. I mean, I call it the law of unintended consequences. And man, if there was ever a law of unintended consequences manifest itself, it's certainly been in this election.
So we all know that your father saved Christmas because we've seen Home Alone 2. All right? We've all watched, right? Kevin McAllister needed to find the front desk, and Trump was there to help him, right? Is in the Plaza Hotel. So, okay, this year, your father's going to be the president-elect, right? And you're going to save Christmas again, because it'll be the best Christmas of all of our lives. But my question is, how do we get there? What's the plan between now and November? The energy is on your side. Axios is writing today that Democrats are giving up. There's a story in Axios today that there's congressional Democrats are on the floor because of this man. Vivek Ramaswamy, everyone. Hold on, wait a second. Are we potentially, let's look at the camera real fast. Are we, straight down the barrel, are we potentially looking at the 2034 presidential ticket? I don't know!
By the way, congratulations. The Democrats just killed themselves, all right? Can you imagine? This would be a hell of a ticket.
A little bit of a nightmare, yeah.
They're looking at it on screen. It's great. Who wants to see this in 2034?
Love these guys.
We can finally have Trump Vivek. I like that, right? It's going to work this time.
The comedians in the genes. I like that. That's good. It goes with the genetics.
This is amazing.
Good stuff, guys.
Guys, let's just roll.
Wait, can we talk about Christmas?
Well, I was going to say, yeah.
Can we talk about Christmas? Is
Yeah,
that okay?
please.
So my father, he gets to the White House, right? He gets there, and they keep on calling the tree on the south lawn of the White House. They keep on calling it a holiday tree. And he goes, guys, why are you calling it a holiday tree? Like, does it have lights on it? They're like, yes. Does it have the fake snow on it? Yes. He's like, it's a damn Christmas tree. Call it a Christmas tree.
Thank you.
This is a Christmas tree. We're going to call it a Christmas tree. So Trump saved Christmas in Home Alone, but he also saved Christmas in Washington, D.C. So
Yes!
he saved Christmas twice. So thank you, Donald Trump.
We're going to call it Christmas again. We're going to say Merry Christmas again. I remember when it was illegal. Thank God we can say it again.
It's like he left Joe Biden home alone now in the White House, rolling around not knowing what the hell to do, you know?
Joe Biden's very Marvin Harry in the White House by himself, electrocuting himself. Yeah.
Home Alone had that old kind of senile guy, right?
Oh, yeah, that guy, yeah. Joe Biden with the bag of salt.
That guy ended up becoming a nice guy because I think he met Kevin McAllister in
That's
church,
true.
didn't he?
But if Joe Biden was that guy, he'd sniff Kevin McAllister. Yeah.
And the wet bandits.
Vivek is on stage soon. Vivek's going to speak tonight. Give us a preview. Give us a preview of your primetime speech, Vivek.
So I think a big theme of this week has been national unity. And our side cares about national unity, but not in some fake AstroTurf way. Right? Not some fake kind of national unity, but the actual real thing. That we could disagree like hell with each other, but still have dinner at the end of it. It's one of the things I love about Donald Trump, actually. A lot of people, even in our movement, may not have full visibility. I mean, you have, obviously, visibility into this. I've gotten to know him over the last 6 months. He's open. He'll have the conversation. You know what? I may disagree with about 99 things, but if there's one thing that I can work with you on to actually get something done for the country, I'm going to do that. He's pragmatist while also having ideals. And so that's going to be the theme of my speech tonight. Not fake unity, but real unity. And, you know, I'm not very good at giving scripted speeches, so we'll see how good I am at sticking to the preordained speech, but that's going to be the theme of it, and I'm looking forward to it.
Do you still believe it's going to be Michelle Obama?
I think it's highly likely. Because you got to think about this. So every point of the debate, and I said this, last year we were talking about this, but the debate, obviously the debate was a disaster. I actually think the bigger change was in the last few days. Where if you think about this, Biden's now at a fork in the road, right? He, on one hand, has a histrionic message that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy, but he himself says we got to tone down the rhetoric, in which case he has no message left. So I think that actually makes for the most compelling case that they're going to have to replace him, is the man literally, it's not just his cognitive deficit, it's his message deficit. He has no vision or message left, which means they can't go with Kamala because she also has a cognitive deficit issue. But she has an identity politic poison pill. In the corporate world, you call that a poison pill. You can't get rid of the guy because she's the poison pill. Who's the one person that gets around that? They're going to take one shot. It's going to be the best shot they can take. And I think it's going to be likely Michelle Obama. And they're waiting for this convention to play out, which is why I think complacency on our side is not an option.
Yep.
Right? They want all the festivities to be behind them. Wait till next month. And I predict they're going to take their best shot, but it doesn't matter. Because at this point, look at Donald Trump, the images of your father last Saturday coming out of that. That's not the stuff of elections. That's the stuff of centuries that our grandchildren will be reading about. You don't lose elections on the back of that, so you do your job. We're going to win regardless of what happens here.
I have a really important question for Eric. Eric, are you a little bit sad that you don't get to see Vivek debate Kamala Harris for VP?
By the way, I am. I am. By the way, Kamala was given 2 tasks, right? She was put in charge of AI. And as I always say, I don't think Kamala could spell AI. I totally mean that.
There we go.
Right. And then second of all, she's put in charge of being the border czar. And what is the first thing that Kamala does when she's put in charge of being the border czar? She goes to Vietnam. I kid you not. And so yes, I would love to see my man right here, my running mate in 2032. I would love to see him date Kamala. I mean,
You heard it here first.
It's sad. Guys, we got to get this country back, and Donald Trump will. Honestly, you saw the fight. When he's bleeding from the side of the ear, side of the face, and he comes out saying, I want to... His life would have been so much better not being in politics, and he wants to fight for this country. And honestly, it's going to be so much fun to watch term number 2. He knows where all the skeletons are buried. He knows where all the crooks in Washington, D.C. is. They have tortured him for years. He will take great pride in firing every single one of them.
Yep.
And that's exactly what we need. And by the way, I have more respect for this man than anybody. I hope he takes the biggest position in Washington, D.C.
Woo!
Because if there's ever somebody who will go in there and clean out an agency and rid them of the corruption and of the nonsense, It's Vivek, and he would have my full
I don't
support,
want
believe me.
to. I don't want to speak. I don't want to get ahead of myself here. But what I've heard whispered is that Vivek would be excellent for DHS, which would put him in charge of the Secret Service.
Yeah, well,
Which would put you in charge of the
they
Secret
keep
Service.
setting a really low bar for everybody to
Yeah.
clear here. I'll say this one thing on the point Eric made, though. We talk a lot about the mass deportations of millions of illegals from the country, and we're all in favor of that. But we also need to mass deport millions of those federal bureaucrats out of Washington, D.C.
Yep.
That is the second mass deportation that's going to save this country. And let's have some real talk, right? Because even in the primary, one of the questions you'll get is, well, why didn't Donald Trump do that in the first term? Here's an answer to that question. The Supreme Court only paved the way in the last 2 years. So in 2017, Trump actually did not have the toolkit to actually gut that actual bureaucracy, to go in and drain the swamp. There were legal obstacles that now don't exist. So I think this is a once-in-a-century opportunity to save the country, get rid of the managerial bureaucracy, and actually create a constitutional republic that our founding fathers envisioned. And Donald Trump's going to be the man to do it.
Can I mention one thing on that? I want everybody to know, and Vivek just touched on this, but the numbers are a lie. You see the employment numbers in this country, right? And they go up 200,000 a month, and people are like, oh, okay, those are okay numbers. 60% of all jobs created in this country in the last 4 years have been government jobs, roughly 1.6 million, right? Those aren't people that are paying taxes. Those are people that your taxes are paying for. Yet no one wants to come out because the media is dishonest. No one wants to come out and actually break down those job numbers and tell you that those are actually half the jobs that are in there, over half the jobs that are in there. Your taxpayer, right? The 87,000 IRS agents, but across the federal government and across local and state governments, it's about 1.6 million. That's how augmented our government has gotten, and it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. We need less government, a whole lot less government, not more.
And yeah, I want everybody. We've got a good audience here. Let's just take a pulse on this. All right. It's going to be clunky. It's going to be a little clunky.
And I do want to tell, before you do the poll, I do want to tell our viewers, because we have tens of thousands, we have hundreds of thousands watching right now. The reason why we're kind of in the round here is very Shakespearean. There's an incredible audience, hundreds of people all around. So we don't mean to be rude to you, hundreds of thousands of people watching. That we're just talking to the people.
Hey, I don't know if
they're with us.
Them more, or do we like?
We're bringing them in here. We like them all.
We're gonna move around. There we go. And if we can do the widest shot possible, thank you. Here we go. Please.
Yeah, I like Benny. He's got the inner producer in him while he's still in front of the camera. I like that.
Go. Let's go. Poll.
That's
crowd
smart.
poll from Vivek.
That's smart. No, so this is serious too, because push comes to shove. We'll say we want to shut down the deep state, but are there going to be some little inconveniences from time to time, small things here and there? Sure. You get rid of millions of federal bureaucrats, get rid of agencies, streamline the government. The question is, are we ready for it? So some people say, hey, just go in there. Reform the federal government. Who wants to reform the bureaucracy? Okay, some of you. Now my question is, who wants to get in there and actually shut it down?
Yeah.
Because that's what we're talking about.
By the way,
so get ready for that.
The same people that wanted to reform it are actually voting to shut it down.
Shut it down, right, exactly.
I'm not sure if you realize
Shut
B was going to be
down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. That's what Donald Trump's got to get in there and get done. Let's get him in office so he can do it.
Man, who's ready for this? This is a little looking forward, but these guys got some energy. These guys got some dynamics. Okay, so I have a question for you, Eric, because it's something that Vivek said yesterday. And he went thermonuclear viral with it. It was your first comments from the RNC. You said Donald Trump is our modern-day President Abraham Lincoln. He is the modern incarnation. Can you expound on that, Eric? Do you agree?
Look, I mean, Abraham Lincoln, he was the first Republican. And it was actually at this convention, it was the equivalent of this convention, where he first gave his speech that a house divided cannot stand. And I don't want to, you're going to go into the gory detail of this, but they called him a dictator. They called him a tyrant. They called him a traitor. I'm not making this stuff up. You can't make this up. They said that he would make a laughingstock of America on the global stage, and they said that it would be the end of the United States of America as they know it. That was the Democrat-led media.
They're using the same talking points.
That's right. And it was the Democrat-led media about Abraham Lincoln. And the sad part is it was shortly after that John Wilkes Booth put a bullet in his head. I think Donald Trump was given by divine providence the chance that Abraham Lincoln did not have to reunite this country for the next 160 years. And it's up to us to take that chance and to actually make what is true out of it. Ooh. This country doesn't have to be on our way down, right? We don't have to be this nation in decline. I think it is what we choose it to be. I think we can still have a nation in our ascent. And I think you're going to hear Donald Trump on Thursday night. I'm looking forward to hearing what he has to say. That's the nation in decline.
The Democrats are after him as well.
That's right.
I got it.
Fight!
I love it.
Fight! And that's what we're going to do.
Eric, your thoughts on that? Final thoughts on that? You can stay as long as you want, of course, Eric.
You know what? There's never been anybody who's created a movement like this. And this is a movement of love, right? You know, politicians don't create movements like this. Politicians don't have people transcend from every aspect of a state to a rally to sit there for 24 hours to wait in long lines. It's a movement of love. And it's a movement of love for this country and for a nation. And people are sick and tired of getting ripped off and used, you know, in a country that's degraded, in a flag that's disrespected, in a God and religion that is disrespected, in a constitution that is 100% under fire. 100%. The things that we love, the things that we believe in, our core values, our family, our kids, all of those things have been disrespected and used and abused, and people have been lied to, and they call them the flyover states for a reason. People are taken for granted in this country, and they want America back, and they see the one guy who did not need to do this.
Preach.
His life would be better elsewhere, believe me. He
Preach.
didn't need to do this. As a family, we didn't need to do that. And that has bred love. This isn't political affiliation. This is love. It's heart. It's soul. And I promise you that movement will live on. That movement will live on forever.
Yes.
Amen.
All right. Trump.
We love you guys. Truly, on behalf of the entire family, we love you guys to death, and I appreciate you. We love you. We love this goofy bastard.
Eric,
there's no other Benny.
Hey,
there's no other Benny.
Eric, after that speech, I think you've officially earned it. You can do a mic drop. There you go. Thank you, Eric. You're my man. Eric Trump, everyone. Are you out too? Okay. All right. Good luck tonight. And Vivek Ramaswamy, everyone. All right. We have the great Congressman Wesley Hunt in the house. What's up? How you doing, man? What's going on?
I cannot be better.
That was hot.
Be better. It's a hot one.
That was hot.
It was hot. It's good though. It's good. Good for the country.
You had a great speech
Thank you so much.
last night. Congratulations.
It was an honor to do it. Yeah.
What an energy. Can you talk, because there's obviously millions of people watching.
Yeah.
But what people don't, I think, see is the energy right now
Yes.
out of this convention. It's wild.
It is remarkable. And when President Trump showed up last night, it was an undeniable sense of unity and the idea that our country and our party are going to galvanize and coalesce around President Trump to the likes that we have not seen in modern history. I think we're going to have a record day in November. And after what we saw last Saturday with us almost losing him, I got to tell you, to see all the patriots here today show up in support of President Trump is absolutely one of the most American things I've ever seen. And I flew Apaches. So I've seen some real American stuff, you know what I mean? So this has been outstanding.
So you do have a exceptional military background. Are you still in, or are you national? Okay.
No,
But still, nonetheless, you deployed. You were in combat zones. You must have seen, from a tactical perspective, some real problems with what happened.
You know, from a tactical standpoint, yes.
Saturday.
But real quick, I want to touch on this real quick.
Yeah.
So, I flew 55 combat air missions in Baghdad, and I've been shot at before. And it's the resolve that you understand once you get shot at to then get up and to fly the next mission and to keep moving forward and to keep going. Because if you don't do your job, then people on the ground might die. You must do your job because you took that oath, and you keep on moving forward. When I saw President Trump get shot at as a civilian and the resolve that he had to put his shoes back on, to walk off that stage with dignity and to tell us all to fight, I could have sworn that guy's been in combat before. And that's the kind of resolve that the country needs. That's what the world needs to see. It was on full display. It is the definition of courage under fire, literal fire. And that's the only reason why he's doing this. That's why we're all here today, to make sure we get that strong man, that courage under fire, back in the White House.
And everybody saw the bandage yesterday. We were within a millisecond. I'd say we were within actually a spiritual awakening second.
Yes.
Because I believe the hand of God saved President Trump.
Oh, absolutely. One turn of the head.
I think that you can
Augusta
scientifically prove a miracle.
Augusta win.
Yes,
Yeah, absolutely.
You can scientifically prove a miracle. So my question to you is, given that fact, what can we do as mere mortals, and you're a member of Congress, and you would have oversight over the Secret Service,
Yes.
what reforms can be made, especially from somebody like you who knows what it's like to be shot at? Because
Yes.
there's a lot of people like me who just chirp, chirp, chirp all day. But I have not gone to a combat, I've not been deployed
Yeah.
to combat zones, right?
Yeah.
So from your perspective, what must happen to reform this so that this doesn't happen to anyone? Donald Trump, Democrat, and nobody
Anyone.
wants our presidential candidates to have their heads shot.
Period.
Yeah.
I don't care what party. I don't
Yep.
care what you think. That should never happen in this country. And so I'm on the House Judiciary Committee. We're going to have a full investigation. Oversight has this as well. We're going to have a full investigation to get to the bottom of this and to have some substantive reforms and actually be transparent with the American public so we know what happens, so this does not ever happen again. And I will do everything in my power, along with Jim Jordan and my other colleagues on the House Judiciary Committee, to get to the bottom of this. And we have to get to the bottom of this yesterday. Now, I will say this. When President Trump walked out yesterday, that looked like the A-team that was with him yesterday. So I could tell there's already been some internal conversations here about how much protection our former and
You mean the
future
Secret
president-
Service?
I'm talking about the Secret Service.
Yeah, because everybody noticed suddenly the Secret Service members were taller than
Those
Donald
guys,
Trump.
I mean,
right?
those guys were about that action. They were about that action, and I could tell when they walked up. So there's already clearly been some internal conversations about how we're going to protect this man.
So you think that we heard the news today that his service has been ratcheted up, but nonetheless, what a failure to leave a building, an elevated position, open 100 yards away. And my brother in Christ.
Yes.
Nobody's lost their job.
Yes.
How
yes.
how is that possible? This seems to be like your only job, right? The president had a headshot on him.
Correct.
There's a headshot on the president.
Correct. And I would say no one's lost their job yet. Again, we have to let the cake bake. We have to do an investigation. We have to look at exactly what happened. This is America.
Yep.
We have to actually do an autopsy to figure everything out. And you're right, 150 yards away, that's a chip shot. That's utterly ridiculous. I mean, I'm pretty accurate with my AR-15 back at home. I tell you what, 150 yards is way too close for any president or former president or anybody that is special in this country that's willing to continue to serve like President Trump has done.
So when it comes to presidential security and when it comes to the general security of this country, you've been talking about this on our program for a very long time, Congressman.
Yeah.
You're from Texas. Yeah. How would you advise President Trump, as soon as he gets back to the White House, given the needs of your district, to start securing things up? I know you spoke about this yesterday.
Yeah, I think he's all over this. He knows exactly what he's going to do on day one. And I have a very, very bold prediction, Benny. I think when he wins on November the 5th, I think the cartels are going to take a chill pill. I think the entire world is going to straighten up before he gets in office in January because nobody wants that smoke.
That's right.
He knows we have to shut down this border yesterday. We're going to have to deport some of these animals that are arbitrarily murdering our children and murdering our fellow Americans. President Trump is well aware of this.
So you've often, after you've come on our airwaves, and you have called President Trump a gangster.
Oh, yeah, he's a G. He's the OG. Yes.
You've called him a gangster, and you did that before he was bulletproof.
Yes, yeah.
You did that before he was shot. You were ahead of the curve.
He's the OG.
You were ahead of the meme.
He's the guy.
And now we can make shirts like this with the parental advisory, Donald Trump.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I noticed his strength a long time ago, and I think, I told a story about his negotiation with the Afghanistan and with the Taliban in Afghanistan about a month ago, and that's the kind of strength that we're talking about.
Yes.
We aren't playing games. We need the world to respect us, to respect our might, to respect the United States of America.
Yes.
We have got to get that back in this country.
Yes.
And people need to understand something. There are people on this planet that want to see all Americans dead. End of discussion.
Yes. Yep.
So we have to defend ourselves. We have to defend our freedom. We have to defend our sovereignty. We have to understand this is not about singing Kumbaya. We have to actually defend ourselves. And President Trump is the man to do it.
So 50 Cent, a hopefully not affected by inflation because
Otherwise, he'd be 75 cents.
that's right.
He's $1.50 now, right?
He's
He buys America.
apparently going to be at the RNC convention. Do you know anything about that?
I'm his congressman, actually, in Houston, Texas.
Really?
So I actually met him on the Hill a few weeks ago. I mean, Get Rich or Die Trying, that's one of my all-time favorite albums, right? So I was kind of fanboying a little bit when I saw him. But I think it's really cool to see the hip-hop culture, our culture, black men, black women realizing the Democrat Party hasn't done anything for them and anything for us in 40 years. Let's get this right. Black issues are American issues. 50 Cent does not like a porous border. 50 Cent does not want to pay more taxes. 50 Cent does not want to be broke. 50 Cent already got shot 9 times. He wants to be safe. It's just that simple. And so him showing up here is a shot across the bow to the left that guess what? Biden right now is officially losing the culture. And when you're losing the culture, let's go.
Yes. Did you see that clip of 50 performing with the Trump meme behind him?
Of course I saw the
Get
clip.
Rich or Die Trying,
I
Trump
ordered
face
the
on it?
T-shirt. I already ordered
Bulletproof?
the T-shirt, man.
Yeah, okay.
It's amazing. The Louis Vuitton. Oh, let's go.
Okay.
Let's
All
go.
right.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
I'm not going to do it. You are welcome. You are welcome to do it. Some people speculate that Trump may come out to that song.
I pray to God.
You endorse
he
it?
does I 100% endorse it.
Okay.
I 100% endorse that.
Okay. All right. What say you if President Trump says, "Hey, I need a total effing American badass to be in charge of the Secret Service, Wesley Hunt"?
If President Trump asked me to do something, how could I possibly say no? And I tell you what, I've been around him. Thank you. I trust that man. We put our country in his hands. I am a faithful servant to this country. I'm a combat veteran. Anything that I could do to save the very soul of this nation with President Trump at the helm, why would I not?
Yes. Why not?
Why not?
You went viral with a story about President Trump.
Yeah,
You said President Trump showed the Taliban a photo of his home,
that's right.
and he said, "I'm going to smoke you in
That's
your
right.
house."
That's right. The story goes as I was told, actually by Mike Pompeo at lunch a few years ago. They were having negotiations with the Taliban in Afghanistan, and basically there was a translator, and Donald Trump, he told the translator, "Hey, look, I want you to tell Taliban leadership that I'm going to leave Afghanistan, but it's going to be a conditions-based withdrawal." And he said, "Okay," I translated it, and he said, "If you don't do exactly what I tell you to do, and if you harm a single American, I'm going to kill you." And then reached in his pocket and showed the leader of the Taliban a picture of his home in Afghanistan and got up and walked out. Do you know that for 18 months, not a single American died in Afghanistan?
Really?
Yes.
So
That is a fact. After that meeting, not a single American died in Afghanistan. Now, do you see Joe Biden doing that?
No.
He'd offer him ice cream, wouldn't he?
Well, yeah, I see Joe Biden doing exactly what would be required to make sure as many Americans die in Afghanistan as possible.
You are correct.
Yeah.
You are correct.
So how do we prevent future war? And I think that it's amazing to speak to people who fought in wars because it's always the people who fought in wars, like J.D. Vance, who are the ones who don't want to start more wars. I find that remarkable. Those who go and fight in wars actually understand it, and they say, no, this is terrible. Right. We waste American treasure and the greatest American treasure, which is American lives.
Correct. When we choose to send our sons and daughters to war and risk their lives, it better be for a damn good cause.
Yes.
The people that know that the best are the ones that have served in other countries and fought for this country. So I want to make sure that I defend my future brothers and sisters in combat. And if they choose to want to serve in the military, my thoughts are this. If I send you to war, it's for a good reason. Oh, let's Byron Donalds.
Oh! Byron Donalds, ladies and gentlemen. What
The infamous.
Notorious.
Bad boy.
I told you it was too soon for that. When you went to infamous, I thought you was talking about
The notorious?
No. What's going on, convention? How you guys doing? You guys doing all right? Benny, did you tell the people that we're live in Milwaukee?
We are live in Milwaukee. Let me hear you. What a great night, boys. What a great night.
amazing. It's gonna be
You
good.
guys rocked it. I wanted to know, Byron, did your team coach you on that walk up? Did you practice that? Were you in the mirror like for a couple days?
That's how I roll.
Practicing that walk up in the hotel
I
room?
see it every day in the halls of Congress.
Thank you, Wesley. I appreciate it.
That's how he walks on the House floor every day.
No, listen,
Background music playing and everything. He walks in, hit my music.
they do play it through the chambers. Seriously. We the craziest part last night, and listen, the arena was electric all night. The craziest part was that when I walked out and I heard the people, at first I was like, you know what? That's pretty good. Let's see how far this goes. So that's when I just slowed it down a little bit, and they just kept building. Great night, great crowd. This convention is unifying our party in ways we have not been unified, I dare say, since
Yes.
post 9/11.
Yes.
We haven't been this unified since
ever? Fully
agree.
post 9/11.
Or ever. Yeah.
And so I just think that right now the big thing going forward is going to be, and we're going to see it Thursday night. Tuesday night is going to be epic, but Thursday night,
That's the night.
when Donald Trump takes that podium to officially accept the nomination,
Right,
it's
man.
going to be electrifying. I'm
Electrifying.
going to steal it from The Rock. It's going to be electrifying. It's going to be electrifying.
We're here with the rock bottom.
Practice that. So The Rock refused to endorse Joe Biden. He apologized for his endorsement in 2020 and then refused to endorse in 2024. Did you have anything to do with that?
I didn't have anything to do with that, but I'm going to say that, the people's champion, The Rock, he knows when the people are against somebody, and the people are against Joe Biden. They've seen enough. He's a terrible president. I've been calling him the master of disaster because the man's just been terrible at his job. And the American people want something new. Wesley knows this. In Houston, Texas, they want Donald Trump. In Southwest Florida, they want Donald Trump. But I'm going to tell you, you've been hearing it. You've been hearing it, too.
Yeah.
I've been hearing it. In Milwaukee, Wisconsin, it's a little bit quieter. They go, man, we need Donald Trump.
No, quieter, yeah.
We need Donald Trump.
I'm sorry. Do we need Donald Trump in Milwaukee, Wisconsin? Yeah. Okay. Hold on. You sat right next to the president all night.
I did.
And you sat right next, and then Tucker Carlson's on the other side.
You ain't lying.
Well,
So it's Tucker Carlson, you, and then Donald Trump.
and then JD, and then Speaker Johnson.
So is that like
that
a new A team? Is this like a new? Are you
trying to say I'm B.A. Baracus?
I'm trying to say, Mr. T.
Pity the fool,
Yes.
bro.
Pity the fool.
Pity the fool.
So, first off, what was that like? Donald Trump's great triumphant re-entry, right? Donald Trump is back with the bandage and everything. Tell us the story. What was that like?
So the first thing was, and this is in all honesty and all humility, because it's humid out here. In all humility, excuse me. How did I get here?
Yeah, that's right.
Listen, I think it's important for people to understand. 10 years ago, I was a Republican activist. The first convention I ever went to was the 2012 convention in Tampa. And the only reason I got in is because I was a guest of somebody else, simply because I had helped out and worked and did things on the ground. So for it to kind of come full circle, and you're sitting in the president's box and you're sitting next to the president, especially after what happened Saturday, you're thinking, man, how did I get here?
Only in America, man.
Only in
Yeah,
America,
that's
baby.
right.
Only in America. Man, where's Don King when I need him?
Greatest country on earth. So what did the president say to you? Come on, give us some background. Give us some behind the scenes. What did Trump say to you?
Benny, I love you, baby, but I can't give you everything.
Okay, all right.
I can't give you everything he said. That's
Okay,
between.
all right.
But I'll tell you, right before he came out, everybody saw him on the video monitors last night.
Yes.
You could see the moment, how much it meant to him,
Yes.
the emotion of him coming out, the emotion of everybody in that arena wanting to see him. Man, I got to tell you, man, it was surreal. It was an out of body experience, because when he stepped foot on that convention floor, the roof blew off the place, and he didn't even say a word from the podium.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
just wait for Thursday. Just wait for Thursday.
I know you're a believer. Do you believe that it was divine intervention when that bullet didn't hit
That's what I
his
told him.
skull?
That's what I told him.
Yeah.
I said, Mr. President, the hand of God is upon you. The hand of God's upon you.
That's right.
And then he was talking to me and Tucker about it. He's like, centimeters. 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 And so, look, I think he's an incredibly blessed man. He is blessed to lead this nation. And now it's our job as Republican elected officials, as Republican activists here in the great city of Milwaukee and Wisconsin, as people with a platform in the America First movement, Benny Johnson. The time is now for us to do the work after this convention to make sure he's taking the oath of office and JD is taking the oath of office so we can get this country on track.
Amen.
I think I speak for many here that we know you were vetted for vice president. We know you're a humble guy. All of us are somewhat sad that you don't get to debate Kamala Harris. We're a little bit sad about it. We love JD. This is not hate to JD. This is just we're a little sad to not see Byron Donalds walk on stage with Kamala Harris and Kamala Harris go, ha 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 ha, you fall out of a coconut tree?
So, first of all, JD is going to do a tremendous job because JD is smart.
No hate.
He's tough. He knows the issues, and he's not going to shy away from a fight. But Benny, I think Kamala had a prayer answered. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that now. I'll leave it at that. Love you, madam.
Okay. Well, you would have been unencumbered by what has been. Yeah.
Literally.
Okay.
Literally.
All right. So, through November, what's the plan? I'm sure that you will be on the road with 47-45. You will be on the road. What's the plan? Give us the pathway to victory.
Registering every voter that needs to be out there. The forgotten men and women of this country have to stand up and make sure their voice is heard. It's every waitress, it's every bartender, it's every Uber driver, it's every trucker, it's everybody that goes to church on Sunday and they pray to God Almighty, and we have to remind them that faith without works is dead, and they have a responsibility to get out and make sure their voice is heard. It's registering them, it's get out the vote. And so my job, Wesley's job, we're out there. You know what we are? We are the oratory. We are the muscle to give people the oomph for our volunteers to keep going in them times where you don't want to keep going. Because I've been in those rooms when you're tired. You've made call number 127 and your list is 200 calls. And you're like, I just made 127 and half of them went to the voicemail. What do? You make every call. When I ran my race for Congress in 2020, my team, we knocked doors all the time, man. We would always say at 6 o'clock, we're going to stop knocking doors because people want to spend time with their families. If there were like 4 houses left on the list and it hit 6 o'clock, they're standing over there. They already know. Well, we're going to knock the 4 doors. But sir, it's 6 o'clock. They're just going to have to forgive me. We're going to knock every door. Our motto on the campaign was no stone. And it was about no stone left unturned. And if Republican volunteers, activists, people supporting President Trump, they leave no stone left unturned, we're going to win. We're going to win big. And then we're going to get to the business of making America great again.
This is totally different. It's totally different from Hunter Biden's campaign slogan, which is no stoned. Don't be stoned. Try not to be stoned. I'm the White House chief of staff now. I try not to be Hunter. No stoned. Do not be stoned anymore.
Now, Benny.
Just asking.
Now, Benny.
I'm
Now,
just
Benny.
saying. I'm
Now,
speculating.
Benny.
You guys have a new chief of staff. And Hunter Biden's chief of staff is suddenly there's little bags of Coke all over D.C. Everyone's finding them everywhere.
Benny. Whoa.
They find them in the White House?
Listen, Hunter has recovered from his addiction.
Okay.
I heard he was a crackhead when he was typing into his laptop, but he's recovered, and that's a blessing.
Oh.
Very nice of you, Byron.
That also means I don't want him anywhere near the White House making decisions, but he's recovered, and that's a blessing.
All right, I gotta ask something for everybody who's actually watching. Are you watching the camaraderie here? Are we looking at like the 2032 ticket? What's going on here? You guys are finishing each other's sentences. This is the fourth time. I want everybody watching at home. This is the fourth time that Byron and Wesley have finished each other's sentences on stage here.
My boy.
So are we looking at like a future ticket? What's going on here?
We got to get through this year first.
All right.
That's it.
Okay.
We got to get President Trump back in office right now. That's it.
All right.
That's all we got.
Okay.
You like how I dodged that, right? I just looked at Wesley.
Got good vibes.
I got it wrong, brother.
Got good vibes. All right. Thank you so
see you,
much,
Benny.
Congressman. Thank you. The great Wesley Hunt from Texas. Byron, I want to ask a question about last night because I don't want to skip over something that's really remarkable, and that seems to be the major takeaway headline, which is that the Republican Party has changed. And if you have the Teamsters head speaking on stage and you speaking on stage and President Trump walking in to sit next to Tucker Carlson and Amber Rose on stage, you have a totally different Republican Party. I mean, this is blowing the minds of everybody online, and those who even hate Republicans in the corporate press are saying this is unlike anything we've ever seen. This is a unifying party with energy that seems as though it's undefeatable.
Well, real quick. So, in the green room last night, I saw Amber Rose sitting on the side. My wife and I went up, introduced ourselves, wanted to make sure she felt welcomed here to do what needed to be done. She was nervous. She was like, I've never done anything like this before. I said, don't even worry about it. You're going to be phenomenal. The crowd is ready to go. Just let their energy take you and just do it. Saw her this morning over at and I'm not going to put her hotel out on the internet because, you know, I don't want dudes just showing up in Milwaukee. That's irresponsible. Saw her this morning and I said to her, you killed it. You did a phenomenal job. She said, thank you. I met her dad because her dad was with her. He served our country in the armed forces for 20 years. It was a pleasure to shake his hand. What you saw last night was the American people, not Republicans, not just a certain race or a certain religion.
Yes.
You saw the American people say, you know what? We need a return to common sense. We need to return to America First policies. We need to return to somebody putting the American people first. And that's not about your party, and that's not about your ideology. It's about recognizing that we have many, many problems in this country. We are a country in decline, and we got a guy who fixed it once. And he can come back and fix it again. That's what you saw last night.
Yes.
That's what you're going to see the rest of this week here in Milwaukee.
Beautiful. And shout out to Mrs. Donalds. I know she's in the house.
There she goes.
What's going on? What a beautiful family you have. We're from the same part of the world, Southwest Florida.
Beautiful
This
place.
is a working class part of the world, man. There's workers in Southwest Florida. There's people who like work for a living.
100%.
Get their hands dirty, get their feet dirty, and come home with dirt on their shoes, right?
100%. They do it every single day.
What does it mean that the head of the Teamsters spoke for the first time in 121 years at the Republican Party last night? You were seated next to the president during that speech. Can you give us some insight?
Well, I mean, what it means is that President Trump wants to hear from everybody, and he wants everybody to be heard. Compare that to the left, who's quick to cut off debate, who's quick to stifle debate. I mean, they couldn't even let Joe Biden go through a primary process. They were scared of Dean Phillips and RFKJ. So Donald Trump wants everybody to feel welcomed. He wants the grand old party to be the grand opportunity party. He wants it to be an open party where all ideas are shared. And let me be very clear. Just because all ideas are talked about and shared doesn't mean Donald Trump's going to execute those ideas.
Yes.
Because he is laser focused on the American people and what's best for our country. But it was a great night. And it actually demonstrated that in our party, we are the tolerant party. We're the open party.
Yes.
I said grand opportunity party.
Yeah.
We are the grand open party. Listen, it sounds like a PGA event. We are the grand open party.
Open to everything but the border. No open borders.
No open borders.
There
You're
we
right
go.
about that. You're right
There's the
about
one
that.
thing we're going to
You're right
close,
about that. You're right about that.
Yeah. I like that. Grand opportunity party, grand open party. We workshop it. I have a workshop for you. Eric Trump was up here.
Yeah.
With Vivek, and we have our new shirts here with our bulletproof Donald Trump. What do you think of bulletproof? Parental advisory. What do you think of the hottest banger of the summer? Bulletproof being the new campaign slogan.
So first of all, I've seen a lot of campaign merch. This is good merch. This is hot merch, America. Get this thing. Benny, I'm quite sure this is your merch, so I'm going to give your merch a shout out.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you go to Benny's website and get this merch. This thing is going to move like hotcakes. Hold on a second. Everybody, you like Benny's new merch? You like this bulletproof new merch?
We got to ask the chairwoman of the RNC, Lara Trump, if she likes the new. Everybody welcome Lara Trump in the house.
Was I supposed to wear glasses? I don't know if this is working.
There we go.
It's working. I said, was I supposed to wear sunglasses? You know, nobody tells me anything. This is a glasses party. Y'all left me out. It's okay.
It's all
all
Wesley's fault. He had them on, and I just followed suit.
See? Okay, next time then.
Okay,
obviously.
got it. That's
What's
right.
happening, everybody?
Hey, Lara, what's
Hi.
going on?
You know, we're doing a little convention here, just making America great again. That's all.
We're talking about the vibe.
Yeah,
Byron
it's
just gave like such a
amazing.
beautiful answer on like this. No one's ever seen a Republican Party like this before,
Exactly right.
where you can have Amber Rose and the Teamsters union president on stage.
Night one, Benny.
Night one.
Night one.
Okay.
Yeah, and Byron Donalds. Just
And
saying.
Byron Donalds on the same stage.
I did a little bit, just a little bit.
Okay, so you might have been one of the only people who knew that Trump was going to do that incredible UFC walkout last night. I think that surprised many. Is he going to do that? I know I'm putting you on the spot here. Is he going to do that to 50 Cent on stage singing Many Men?
Well, I can't think of a cooler thing to do, and quite frankly, a more appropriate thing to do than just that. So everybody
You
will
heard
have
it
to
here.
tune in and see what's to come. I can promise you there will be a lot of surprises and
Okay.
things that people don't expect to come in the coming 3 nights of this convention. So stay tuned.
Well, congratulations. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, I don't want to start with the flattery, but like the corporate media reporters who hate you and who hate the RNC are like, we've never seen it so unified.
Yeah.
We've never seen people with the spirit of inevitability, is what the AP reporter said.
Wow,
From
we,
here.
we like
Yeah,
that.
it's incredible.
Well, listen, I think that this is the most unified this party has been in generations. I don't
Yes.
think there's any disputing that. And I give full credit to Donald J. Trump for that. You know, you saw him go meet with lawmakers, right, at the Capitol not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago. This is a different party right now. Donald Trump changed this party, and now he has made it a party for everyone. And everyone in this country should feel like they can come in. This is a huge tent. We want everybody to come into this party. We're very unified. We're going to hear tonight from Nikki Haley, who's coming to speak at our convention. And honestly, I hope everybody welcomes her with open arms. I think
There
it
we
is
go.
huge that she is going to be here tonight.
There we go. This is, I hope you don't mind me getting too personal here, because you've come on our show, you've shown us beautiful videos of your children giving your father-in-law these drawings. Every parent knows what this is like, right? Giving grandpa drawings. You're relatively public in sharing these beautiful videos of your family, and your husband was just here talking about that moment you saw that shot.
Yeah.
And it is militarily and tactically accurate to say that your father-in-law was shot in the head.
Yes.
And he was shot in the head live, and I would just like to ask, what was that like for you? And what was your initial reaction? Can you talk us through that? Because it was sort of something we all lived together, right?
Yeah. No, I think everyone in this country will say, I remember exactly where I was and
That's
exactly
right.
what was going on
Yes.
the moment I found out that this assassination
Yes.
attempt occurred against Donald Trump. It was honestly one of the most frightening moments I've ever experienced. And I think we were at home and, you know, I had the TV on. I was actually getting dinner ready for my kids. And about 20 seconds before this happened, they had turned around to look at the TV and go, oh, look, there's Grandpa. And I looked down, and when I looked back up, he was on the ground. And I heard Eric in the other room calling me in there. And so I quickly changed the channel because I didn't know what was going on. Obviously, this is my children's grandfather. And when I went in the other room with Eric, it felt like an eternity for us to see him actually get up off the ground. And then obviously we saw the blood. And you don't know. He looked fine. He gave us the fist pump in the air and said, fight, fight, fight. But you don't know. And I think between that moment and actually getting confirmation by hearing him on the phone, by hearing his voice, that he was okay, it was incredibly frightening. And you think about millimeters. We're talking millimeters that made the difference between us being here today, talking about this failed assassination attempt,
Yes.
and our hearts go out to the family of the father and the husband who was killed.
Yes.
Absolutely tragic. Or this being an utter tragedy, a national tragedy, changing this country and maybe even the world in a way that I don't even think we can fathom right now. It was so close. But I think the thing to come out of this, for me, the thing that I think you're going to hear from Donald Trump himself on Thursday night, is that we can unify. right now in this moment as a country. I think this is a moment in time where we say enough. Enough with the crazy, enough with all of the rhetoric that we've heard. Now is the time to unify, and I think you're going to hear what I believe will probably be the most historic speech of Donald Trump's life on Thursday night.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, 2 follow-ups. What was the first thing that the president said to you?
Well,
on the phone.
He said, I'm okay. And then I knew he was actually fully okay when he started joking. Because Byron knows.
That's true.
When you talk, Donald Trump is one of the funniest people I have ever met. And he is, I mean, if you want to
go. He told jokes?
He told jokes.
Yeah.
In the hospital?
Yeah, I mean, he said,
or the helivac or wherever he was?
Absolutely. He's joking around. And then I hear him talking to the staff.
What did he joke about?
Well, I'll leave that up to him if he ever wants to disclose. But it had to do with his ear and someone who he admires who has an ear situation. I'll leave it at that.
Evander Holyfield.
But I will move on.
All right.
But no, that's when I knew. I said he's totally fine, and thank God for that. And obviously, all you want to be doing in that moment is embracing him and giving him a hug. And we were so far away. We were in New York. He's in Pennsylvania. And it was so reassuring to hear that. And then immediately after that, he said, you know what? We're not changing anything about next week. I don't want anybody to do anything other than show up at that convention. Our convention starts on Monday. We're going to do Monday through Thursday. We're not changing a thing. The show goes on. We go on to campaign and we go on to win on November 5th.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can I get a fight? The new rally cry.
Lara is right. Like, you see at the rallies and in speeches, he'll crack jokes. Like, he's deadpan funny. Somebody will be talking about something serious and he'll just say, yeah, but da-da-da. You'll be like, what's happened? How did that interject in this? He's deadpan funny.
You barely can eat at a dinner when you're eating with Donald Trump because he's so funny. I'm just like kind of laughing the whole time. He's the best storyteller ever in the whole world, as anyone can possibly imagine, of course.
Byron, your team is telling us by
literally, it says Byron has to leave.
You can do whatever you want.
You know, the beauty of congressional privilege is you could just say, oh, that's nice. Bye. I'm going to leave you guys. Because, look, you are in the hands of one of the leaders of our party. Thank you so much for all you're doing at the RNC. You're doing an amazing job.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
See you guys. Love you guys.
Byron!
The best. We'll see you tonight.
Did the president speak to his grandchildren?
He did not. You know what? We wanted to kind of shield them.
Yep.
So we didn't say that anything had happened with Grandpa.
Yeah.
They know now that something happened because, life happens. People talk to them and they know, and they're actually going to come here as of tomorrow. And all my daughter keeps asking me, they FaceTimed me last night whenever I went out to watch some speeches. She said, is Grandpa there? Is he okay? And so they're very excited to see him. Yeah.
Okay, so you teased, I can't let you get away with this, you teased the best speech in political history.
I think so.
You said on Thursday night will be the greatest speech in political history. Tell us more. You have to unpack that. We've heard, according to reports, that the speech is being entirely rewritten.
Yes.
And can you confirm that?
I believe that the first version of the speech was completely scrapped, deleted totally, and it is starting from scratch. Yes.
Give us insights about what is the preparation? What will we see on stage?
Well, this is Donald Trump, and this is what he wanted to have happen. And so I think, look, how do you go through an experience like that and not be changed in some way by it and not be touched in some way by it and truly inspired by it? I mean, it's literally a near-death experience. And so I think he felt like he had a huge opportunity and almost a duty right now to the country. As much of a duty as I think he felt in that moment on the stage to kind of fight Secret Service off, to raise his fist in the air, right? Because they were like, sir, we got to go. And he really said, look, I need to do this. And I think it was a bigger signal, not just for the people there in the audience. Of course, it was for them, the people watching at home. But really to say, like, we're okay. I'm okay, so we're okay. Yes. It was bigger, so much bigger than him. And I think he understands that this moment right now is just about the same. It's so much bigger than him. And he has a real opportunity to reach out to every American, to people who really didn't think they liked Donald Trump, who have criticized him in the past, and bring people in to truly what this movement is about and who he is as a person. And actually, when I speak tonight, I want to give a little more insights into who Donald Trump is as a father-in-law and a grandfather and a dad. And I don't think we get to see that side of him enough.
Yes.
It's why I occasionally do post those videos that are very personal, Because I think that's the Donald Trump I know and the Donald Trump that my children know. And obviously that my husband calls dad. And we should see that side of him. This is a human being at the end of the day. And I think you'll see that in his speech on Thursday. And I certainly want to try to do that a little tonight.
There's millions of people who follow you for that exact reason, because you are open about your motherhood experience and also grandfather time, and I think that's so wonderful. And a part of that, of course, nobody sees.
Yeah.
And nobody gets to see. And they
Yeah.
see the caricature, and they don't see the
Yeah,
little
and
paintings and the drawings and
It's
the
good
grandpa
to remind
moments.
people.
Yeah.
It's good to remind people
My
of this.
all-time favorite one, and because I'm a young dad too, like we're both young parents, my all-time favorite one was it on the plane after the Miami indictment?
Yes.
And you got on the plane, it was a photo of grandpa and granddaughter?
Yeah.
Is that correct? Am I
Yes.
remembering that correctly?
No, you're correct. And it was just before it was on his birthday or just before his birthday. Maybe it was the day of his birthday. And my daughter loves birthdays and she needs to know what everyone's doing for her birthday. So the first thing she did as soon as grandpa got on the plane was she ran up to him and she goes, "Grandpa, are you having your birthday party at a trampoline park?" And can I come? And he thought it was so great. I mean, there's a picture of him like bending over to talk to her about it. And I was like, I have got to capture this because this is amazing. And just what a moment to really just be a grandpa. You know, yes, he's Donald Trump. Yes, he's the greatest president we've ever had and we ever will have again when we reelect him on November 5th, of course. But he's also a grandpa and he doesn't get, I don't think, enough moments like that. So I said, I got to capture this because it's amazing. I loved it.
Speaking of like capturing, what are you going to capture tonight in your speech? Can you give us a preview?
Yeah, well, I mean, I do think that there are very few of us who can tell you who Donald Trump is as a man and again, as a father, a grandfather. And I can tell people that. I can tell them my experiences with him. So I'm going to tell the man that I know and the man that I think America should start to get to know a little more and a little bit more deeply, because he truly has never been given a chance by some people. Some people wrote him off totally from day one. And I think what's happened is you've seen a lot more people open up to Donald Trump recently and say, well, I don't know. I think that my life was certainly better with him in there. I'm going to take another look at him. But I want to humanize him, and I want people to see the Donald Trump that I know, and I'm going to try and do that.
Are there going to be photos? Yeah, I mean, that's an amazing... We want to see that, right? Like, it's good to give the meat and red meat speeches, but we want to actually see the personal side.
No, I know.
There going to be photos on stage?
Oh, I don't know about photos. Nobody asked me. Maybe they took photos, and I don't know about them.
Maybe. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So this convention is wild.
It's a good time.
This has not been easy, right? And it's created for a specific dynamic to sort
Right.
of give people project the truth and the idea that this is a party for everyone,
Right.
and that making America great again is making America great for everyone. This is what Amber Rose said yesterday.
Right.
Yeah. I know that you were in the audience when she was speaking, along with the Teamsters Union
Yeah.
president, which has never happened in 121 years.
Right.
Speak to those booking decisions, right? Because it's like, let me tell you, I've been going to these things since John McCain was the nominee, and that was a night that I could have never predicted. You know, that speaking lineup.
That's the whole point of this convention. That is the Republican Party. We are a party for everyone. And I loved Amber Rose's speech, and I loved the Teamsters president's speech, and I loved the fact that you have an unlikely cast of characters who has already on day one shown up here at the Republican National Convention. You also, Benny, have seen and heard from everyday Americans. And I think that was a really important thing for us, too. You know, you can go to these conventions every year and you can book all the elected officials. And of course, we have our share of those, and they're very important in the future of this country and decisions. But we wanted to hear and give an opportunity to people who everyday life has affected them right now in this country. Who you heard from a woman last night who says, I voted for Joe Biden and I regret that vote. And this is why I'm voting for Donald Trump. So we want to hear from someone that looks like your friend at church, a person you see at the grocery store, your neighbors. And we want you to hear from them and their experiences and their rationale and reasons for voting for Donald Trump.
I know I've asked you before. I know you've said yes. But I did want to confirm, since we are here at the convention, that epic light bar that you had behind Trump in 2016. You guys remember the Trump entrance with the light bar in 2016?
Yeah, that was epic. That was epic.
Are we going to get one of those?
You are going to see an incredible Donald Trump-esque entrance on Thursday night by him. Yes.
Okay,
yeah,
all
we would
right.
do nothing different. And if I may say, this convention setup, our stage, if you didn't notice, is about as high tech as you get. I have to give a shout out to the entire team that has been on the ground here. They've done amazing work. And get ready for some fun stuff to come. And you can see the balloons up top all ready to go too.
Yes.
That we're ready to release them on Thursday night.
Okay, I see the gold balloons.
Yeah, we got some gold balloons.
All
Of course
right,
we do.
okay.
It's Donald Trump.
Is 50 Cent doing a concert really here? Is he going to do it? Can you break the news right now?
We're gonna have a good time here.
Ah,
That's what I'll
right,
tell you.
okay,
That's what I'll tell
we'll take it. Amazing.
Yes.
Okay, so one final question, because motherhood is such a cornerstone that you speak about and speak to, and every time they poll, suburban women is like that. It's like this immovable block for Democrats. And it seems to be there's a little pieces getting chipped off here and there. And I'd like to maybe give you an opportunity to give sort of a heartfelt message to the mothers out there and to women out there and to wives out there about your father-in-law. And maybe they're watching tonight, but why not give it a warm-up go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, listen, this is a man who I can tell you, I had no business with the last name Trump. I came from a small town in North Carolina. I moved to New York. I didn't know a single person there. I happened to meet a guy whose name was Eric Trump out one night with friends. And I can tell you that the very first time I ever met my father-in-law, it was so intimidating to, first of all, meet your possible in-laws. But when their last name is Trump, the bar gets raised quite high. And I was like, oh my gosh, what's this going to be like? And he was so nice and so kind and so genuine and so welcoming to me, and never made me feel like anything other than part of the family and that I belonged, and then put so much faith in me as his daughter-in-law to help him in 2016, and then made me a senior advisor to his campaign in 2020, and allowed me personally to grow in ways and encouraged me in ways that I didn't even think I had the capacity to do. And so he is a good man. He has a heart of gold, and you have to think about the fact that he got into this a second time around knowing the hell he went through the first time, knowing the hell that would actually come his way a second time. Now, did we know it would get as aggressive as it has gotten? Probably not. And he did it anyway, and he did it not for himself. He did it for his grandchildren, for your grandchildren, and generations to come. And I hope people think of that when they think of Donald Trump. He truly has sacrificed so much for this country, and he will do anything he can to make everyone's life great again.
Laura, I know you.
I will forever be grateful to them.
One very quick final question, because I know this is something that you have worked so hard on. Election integrity.
Yes.
For the first time ever, the RNC is suing states to make sure that elections are fair, to make sure that real votes are counted, and that only American citizens vote. Just a quick commentary on your work there through November.
Well, it is the number one focus of the RNC right now. We have pledged to have 100,000 people working as volunteers on our election integrity team. These are people who are going to be spread out throughout the states. We want to have 5,000 people in each battleground state. We want to have 500 lawyers in each battleground state, because, Benny, we can't wait until after the fact to address things. We have to be proactive in our approach to election integrity. We have done trainings to train poll workers. These are people who handle the ballots in the tabulation centers where the mail-in votes come in the actual polling locations. We've done trainings in Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada. We did one here in Waukesha, Wisconsin just last week.
Yes.
We are leaving nothing to chance. And our message to anyone out there who would dare cheat in an election is, if you decide you want to cheat in an election, we'll find you, we'll track you down, we'll prosecute you to the full extent of the law.
Yes.
And if you are a non-citizen illegally voting in our elections, we'll find you, we'll prosecute you to the full extent of the law, and you will be leaving this country.
Yes. You know somebody, Laura, who could help in that process is Superman. Superman
Dean
is
Kane.
here. Dean Kane
Come on
is
up.
here. He could.
Hi, Dean.
What's going on, sir?
Well, now that Superman's here, I don't know that there's any more work left for me.
Let me just say, standing next to clearly Wonder Woman, it's a little embarrassing. I mean, look at this woman. Good Lord.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you.
You're doing such a great job, by the way.
I appreciate that. We're going to work hard. And look, we feel good right now, but every good athlete knows you play every second of the game up until the game is over. And on November 5th, I just want everybody here to get ready to go to bed early because we're calling it early for Donald Trump on November 5th to become our 47th president. So just get ready for that.
No funny,
Thank you, guys.
no funny business at 4 a.m.
No, sir.
Yes.
No, I got to get a good night's sleep. I'm not sleeping at all right now, so we need a good night's sleep.
Laura Trump, everyone. Let's
Thank
give
you,
it
guys.
up.
Love you guys. Thank you, Benny.
All right. Thank
You're
you.
in good hands now.
All right. That's right. Good hands.
Keep going. Keep going.
Dean Kane.
What's up, handsome?
How we doing, man?
How handsome is Benny?
What's going
right?
on?
Come on.
All right.
At least 2 girls said yeah.
Man of Steel.
How are you, my friend?
Man of Steel. And God's not dead.
God's not dead. God's not dead. In God we trust.
In God we trust.
Because there's been 4 others.
Yes.
I was in the first one, and now I'm in the 5th one. I was a bad guy in the first one. I'm a terrible guy in the 5th one. So, I mean, I just keep being a bad guy. It's good. It's good. How you holding up?
You just keep being a bad guy. So you can give us some insight into the psychology of Joe Biden.
Man, I tell you what, no, that's impossible.
Okay.
I'm not sure there is a psychology behind that. I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm not sure anybody's home there. So
Yes.
I'm not going to say much about that other than I wish he would have taken some personal responsibility when he starts talking about let's bring the rhetoric down.
Yes.
I wish he'd have said, and I should take some personal responsibility as well, and that would have changed things. But no, he's already kind of back to his old tricks, and it's too bad.
There's so much going on inside of Hollywood right now, and inside
And I'm
of
sorry.
culture. You're right. And there seems to be this massive realignment. You've been somebody who's been public with your beliefs for so long, and you've been so brave in that. Yet there are so many people who are cowards. We just saw today somebody who's an actor, Jack Black. He has a band. And he just broke up his band. He says
Tenacious D.
I don't know if you saw that, but yeah.
I saw
his
that.
band, they're like joking about the president's assassination.
That's insane. But the thing is, a year ago, 6 months ago, 2 months ago, Friday before Saturday, that would have been okay. They would have said fine. But the fact that what happened on Saturday took place, and their consciences were shocked.
Yes.
That changed the world. And, the fact that he said that, I mean, I was prepared to talk about that. I didn't expect that Jack would back up. I didn't expect that they would step up. Australia did a great thing.
Yes.
They said something about that. But I
Deportation.
think that's what
Yeah.
most of Hollywood, that's your normal person in Hollywood, what they would say. And to me, it's insane. And then now they're screaming at me when I pointed that out. First Amendment, First Amendment. I'm like, you're threatening political violence. You're threatening to assassinate the president of the United States, the former president. There's nothing okay with that in any world, in any place. So I'm glad to see that took place because I did not expect that to take place.
So they back down, but there's and you see it following the box office. You see such a collapse in this industry. And it's happening, I guess, across industries, right?
100%.
And maybe you can speak to the entertainment industry, but you see it in light beer, to Tractor Supply and John Deere, to Hollywood, and go woke, go broke is like for real, right?
I recall someone saying that,
Yeah.
and other person saying everything woke turns to shit.
Yeah.
Pardon my French, but that's the truth. And it's they're making these projects, they're losing tons of money. At a certain point, they've got to flip it the other way because Hollywood is a bottom line place. But they've been pushing ideology as opposed to what people want to watch. Top Gun Maverick, huge.
Yes.
Right? It's got a patriotic theme. It crushes it. And then you get, this last Star Wars. I don't know if you watched it, but I don't
The
know.
Acolyte?
Yeah. I don't think a whole lot of people have, but they're just getting it's embarrassing.
It's
at
humiliating.
this point in time. So,
yes.
Here I go making, faith-based films and things like that because I'm fighting that culture, which makes me a pariah in Hollywood. But after George Clooney, who's a friend of mine, I love George. He's a nice guy. I don't agree with his politics at all.
Wow.
But after he wrote that letter,
Yes.
which I know had to have been blessed by Obama, he
Yes.
wrote that letter, and then it's made it okay for half of Hollywood to say, look, I don't support Joe Biden, which, look, I support that.
Yeah.
Because the emperor has no clothes, and to call that out it's about time. But now he's going to stay in the race, and I'm going to argue that what happened to President Trump that assassination attempt on Saturday is going to change not just this race, but the whole world.
Yes.
For the better.
Okay, so it's going to change the whole world. That means a lot coming from you because you know what it's like to be bulletproof, right?
I'm telling you,
So
I played a superhero.
This is the new bulletproof. Trump is literally bulletproof.
He's legal proof. He's bulletproof. They push that. The things that he has gone through, I've never seen anything like it in my lifetime.
Yes.
The strength that this man has to deal with the lawfare, the Russian collusion thing, people always undermining him, an assassination attempt, and to stand up like that. Listen, I've been under fire. I was in Iraq in 2005 visiting our troops, and I didn't look like that under fire.
Wow,
I'll be honest.
I did not know that.
No, I was there with our guys, and Sean Parnell, who's a guy who's been through it all in Afghanistan.
Yes.
He looked at that and said, "That's a hero reacts that way." There's certain men that'll react that way. The fact that President Trump just got up and said fight and stood like that and stood tall, that photo is so iconic. I hate to say we're up, by 14 and we're in the fourth quarter with 10 minutes to go. And let's, play like we're ahead. No, play like you're behind until this thing is done. If President Trump gets into office, it's the best thing that could happen to the United States and I think the entire world.
This is like the new moment that we all saw together, right? And I was wondering if there'd ever be another one of those, right? It's like everybody remembers when JFK was shot, right? Every person who was alive.
I wasn't alive then, if that's what you're saying, but I was alive. Actually, I was alive.
Oh, are you really?
I was 64, right?
It's 63. 64.
Yeah, I was negative 3 years old. So
Okay.
I was not 64. So I was still negative 3 years old, negative 2 years old.
But it's like Trump, everyone remembers that moment.
Yeah.
What was that moment like for you? When did you see it? What was your reaction?
I was sitting at my computer with my television on to Fox News and started listening to the speech, but I was working on a screenplay.
Yes.
So I was writing, and my mom called me, and my mom was crying.
No.
And she said, and I didn't know what it was, she said, "Is it true?" And I was like, "What?" And she said, "President Trump's just been shot." And I turned around, and I could see commotion on the TV, so I rewound it to where I could see him speaking, and I watched the whole thing happen. And my heart stopped at that moment when he went down. But then I leaped with joy at the moment he stood up and put his hand up, and the crowd cheered. And I know if he had a catastrophic head injury at that point in time, he wouldn't do that. And I was ecstatic that he was out of there and he was okay. But it was the most sobering moment that I can remember in recent history. And I think something changed that day, and for the better. And hopefully it's going to work out to President Trump's benefit. You watched him walk out last night to Lee Greenwood singing, and he was so stoic, and he looked so grateful and humble and presidential. And then I saw the shot of, as a father and a son,
Yes.
I saw the shot of Don Jr., oh my gosh. And that to me said it all. And that I think this is going to turn out to be a defining moment in this campaign, obviously for the positive for President Trump.
When you saw him get up, you're obviously a man who knows how to command a stage. You're
Yes.
obviously a man who knows how to play to the camera, right? Like
Certainly.
that. Okay. So when you saw him get up and go like this, for me, it was like, praise God, I just witnessed a miracle. And he's telling me that he's okay. What should have happened, and we had Eric Prince, we had a number of security experts
There's
on
a guy
yesterday,
who knows.
and it's like, and he was like, I am so angry when I saw that. He's like, how dare they let Trump get out of the bubble, right? At that moment, if they had swept Trump away in a little security bubble, the entire nation would have been sick to their stomach for hours, wondering if he's alive or not, right?
And he was cognizant of that clearly, and wanted to let everybody know. I think he still wanted to talk. I think he wanted to finish his speech, bleeding from the ear. I think he was ready to keep going, which is insane.
It looked
I still wanted to talk.
Bro, it looked like that. It looked like he was ready to just be
He's
like,
I'm not done talking. Let's go.
Yeah.
Which was insane. But that's how a leader reacts, and what he did was unbelievable. And had they swept him away, which honestly is the right thing to do, it is the right thing. I'm a sworn deputy sheriff. Get him out of there. But he wasn't going anywhere. He was like, give me my shoes, and I'm going to stand up with a fist and say, I'm okay. And you hear that roar from the crowd when he did that? That was crazy. And there's a guy who lost his life. There's two people that were horrifically wounded. But he galvanized the crowd and hopefully the United States of America.
So what is happening moving forward? There seems to be a remarkable moment that maybe only you are one of like very few people at this convention that could speak to it, where they've lost the culture. And Democrats haven't been in this position for 3 decades, where like Hollywood is, maybe Reagan would be the last time that like you'd have a Sinatra endorse a Republican, sort of situation. And for 3 decades, I was born in like the last couple of years of the Reagan administration.
Thanks for that.
Here we go. You had the first time Democrats have lost culture. And that's like really scary for them. Like that's got to be horrifying.
I think there's a general panic going on in the Democratic Party right now. And you hear people saying, we're going to lose. It's over. It's over. It's over. I've never heard that, but I also never believe that. I'm happy to see culture flipping the other way, and my hope and my prayer is that President Trump wins it. But it's really fun to watch all the lawfare start to go downhill, to watch everything flipping Trump's way right now. But it's still the beginning of the fourth quarter, and we've got 100 some odd days to go. So I won't believe it until the election is called for President Trump. Play like you're behind, and it's great. But it's wonderful to see the Democrats on defense.
Are you gonna go and campaign with the president?
If he wants me, I'm there anytime, every time.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
Bulletproof.
Yeah,
Come on.
Don't shoot at me either, please.
No,
please. Please don't do that. Please don't do that.
So God's Not Dead, and God We Trust out on September 12th.
September 12th.
Okay. Tell me about
it deals with
Yeah.
a candidate who is running for office who's a pastor. So it's I would argue at this point in time that Saturday when President Trump got shot in the ear, that God did intervene already in this, because the distance between the ear and the head turn, I mean, it was like divine.
It's nothing. It's nothing.
It's divine intervention in that sense, and the wind and whatever it happened to be, unbelievable. So I think God has already chosen. I feel like He has, and I hope it's President Trump.
So the movie itself, can you tell me about sort of the
crux of it is the pastor ends up having to run for Congress, doesn't want to, and then it becomes the argument about separation of church and state. Should your religion have anything to do with how you campaign? Well, I imagine we're going to hear about God from President Trump on Thursday.
Yes.
And I think that's important. And I think, yes, talking about your faith is something that's important. And so that's what the film explores, which couldn't be, it's not like we timed it for this, but I realized, I figured this is the moment.
It sounds perfectly timed for
It's
this.
exactly what we're talking about. And it's wonderful because they've been erasing God from schools, from all education, from, state houses across the nation. And what do you replace that with? You replace that with, gender questions and the CRT and all these things that are going on right now. We need God back in the public sphere.
So, what the hell's going on with DC?
DC Comics?
Yeah. Are you even want to speak to this? I had to ask.
Of course.
I have to ask.
Well, I think that, listen, I'm a
even Marvel too. It's like it's like
I don't care as much about
yikes.
Marvel. I don't care as much about Marvel. They never hired me. But DC, I'm hoping that James Gunn brings back some levity and the heroic nature of Superman and smile.
Yes.
I love the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
Bright colors,
yes. Not this dark world of Batman. That's
Yes.
Batman's world.
Yes.
And by the way, Batman versus Superman should have been about a 12-second short where Batman steps up to Superman just rips his heart out. It's over. That's how it should have gone down. Seriously.
So the more of the truth, justice, and the American way, Superman.
I'm that 100%.
And less like Ozempic, whatever.
No,
sorry, whatever antidepressant. Xanax Superman.
None of that. It's absolutely truth, justice, and the American way. And DC let that expire, and they didn't support that anymore. I have it in my bio on X. I didn't even say Twitter. I said X out of respect for Elon Musk.
Nice.
So I have it because I believe in truth, justice, and the American way. The power of the individual, which is the opposite of fascism for you out there who are calling President Trump a fascist. Smaller government, less regulation, fair competition, keep the government out of it. The ability to make a lot of money and do well, which is what everybody comes here for. It's a land of opportunity. And if you do well, you should be rewarded and be able to reap those rewards.
Would you go on as an advisor for DC Comics?
Oh, I'd love to. There's about a 0.001 chance
A lot
that
of
happens.
people who love your Superman.
I love doing it. It was great.
There's a lot of people.
You should talk to him for me, Benny. Then we're done. We're good.
I mean, you're always top of the list. There's most popular, right? Most popular lists. You're always top of the list.
If they include me on the list, they like to cut me out as much as they can. They do. They love to cut me out. That's it. Well,
all right.
You can't play on a fair, a fair playing field.
Well, you lose enough money, man. You lose enough money.
That's what's happening.
Final question for you, Dean.
False.
We're seeing this. We're seeing this incredible thing where, like, independent movies. Sound of Freedom is one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
But like these independent movies that are made out of the Hollywood studio system that you're involved in, that other actors are involved in, are killing it. And the American public are saying yes to this. Can you tell me about what that's doing to the industry? Like, give us some insight as to what that means for Hollywood going into the future. I mean, is Hollywood cooked, man?
Well, it can be. It has to be very careful. There's only a few people who make the decisions in Hollywood for what movies are going to get made. When you make the big studio movies, they fit $400 million into a project, another $400 million in the P&A. They've got to make $800 million. It's going to be $1 billion picture to make money. They're putting these big ones out there. Meanwhile, it's gotten so much cheaper to make movies, and so many wonderful people are making movies. Whether it's the guys over at Pinnacle Peak that I just did God's Not Dead with, or JC Films, which makes a lot of wonderful faith-based movies. I do those because I want to help change the culture. But at the end of the day, there is a bottom line, and they have to make money. So Paramount just underwent a huge change, and I happen to know the guys who are involved in that, so I'm excited for that possibility. I think the pendulum's going to swing back to make things like Top Gun Maverick.
Yes.
That makes a ton of money. Sound of Freedom, Disney had that movie for 5 years and didn't release it until Angel Studios took it over and said, we want to do this, and it's a huge hit because they didn't want to put that out there. Well, the audiences want it, so the more we make of those, the better off we're going to be.
What they need is people who actually know the audience.
100%.
Like my man. People who actually understand the audience, right? And don't think the entire universe is West Hollywood.
It's not.
Yeah,
but they think it's true.
Right,
100%.
what you know, and it's not good. It doesn't mesh with the American.
The pendulum is swinging back, my friend.
Yes,
it's coming back.
God bless you, Dean.
Hey, God bless you, man.
All right,
Appreciate
everybody go
it.
see.
Thanks for having me on.
Everybody go see Dean's new incredible movie.
Y'all.
All right,
Thank
Superman.
you. Well done.
Superman. We got the Carter family in the house. Yes, okay, fantastic. The Carter family. What's going on? You didn't have to dress up for this.
What's up, Benny?
You really didn't.
Hey, we had to get fresh for Benny.
This is amazing.
We had to get
What's
fresh
going
for
on,
Benny.
boys? What's happening, boys?
Benny, man.
All right, we're going to have to share mics. Okay, here we go. We have 2 mics. Here we go. What is happening?
What's going
What's
on,
up,
man?
man?
What's going on, guys?
What's going on?
I was shocked to see you yesterday.
Man, we were
I
excited.
said, this is amazing.
Yes.
Most of the channels and news stations look a little bit like a nursing home, okay? Look a little bit like Joe Biden's friends, right?
Yes, sir.
And you guys don't actually look like Joe Biden's friends at all.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You're actually Joe Biden's worst enemy, I think.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Probably so.
Is that
Probably
correct?
so.
100%.
Okay. If you know the channel, then you know. We put up a tweet yesterday, and I didn't realize how many of our followers are like the same on YouTube, and what a big family we have in the chat.
Yes, sir. That's
All right.
awesome.
So, okay, what I wanted to speak to was new media. You guys are probably the youngest on the XY axis of youngest and biggest audience. You guys are right up here. And that's awesome to be included in all this.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so what's the experience been like?
Oh, man, it's been phenomenal. Nothing but love, a great experience just to see it all unfold. Like, we saw it on TV, but then we walk in and you can really see what goes on. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's been a huge blessing. We could have never expected this a couple years ago. We just kind of went with the opportunities that God put in front of us, and here we are.
Yeah.
I'd say all the people we met here is just amazing people, and I'm just grateful just to be here and just get to meet all these opportunities I get to do out here, and thank y'all.
People are recognizing you, being like, I love your work, I love your channel, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm very excited to be here, man. It's been amazing. Our first event was Turning Point, and that surprised me so much, man. Like how much love we got at the event, it was just unimaginable.
1 million subs, more than 1 million subs,
Yeah.
Yes.
and reacting to news, politics, culture, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what's your favorite Donald Trump video that you've seen?
I'll say our savage moments. I like it how.
Savage moments are amazing.
I know exactly which one's the favorite. The compilation of when he ran in 2016 of all the news articles saying he wasn't going to win,
yeah.
and then the after he won, their reation. That's my favorite one of all
That was
time.
hilarious.
Crying, the salt must flow, boys.
Yeah.
So, have you guys done a reaction to the most gangster moment in American history?
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is the most gangster. This is the parental advisory.
Has to be.
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely one of the most iconic photos of all time.
What happened? What were you guys doing on Saturday night when you saw this happen? What was your reaction?
Actually, me and him was in the store, and I didn't believe it. He called me, and I was like, "Get off my phone, bro! Like, you're not
Trump
serious."
shot. He says Trump
I
shot?
said, "You're not serious."
No, I told him, I said, Donald Trump just got shot. He hung up the phone. He said, you're lying, bro.
No.
You just wasting my time lying with this. I called him back again. I said, no, bro. Donald Trump really just got shot. He hung up the phone again. And then like 10 minutes later, he called me. He was like, bro, you were right. I said, bro, I was not lying. I would not lie about something like that. Like, that's too far of a joke. So, yeah, we were all just shocked. Like, you couldn't really believe it. Like, it was – because we didn't really live through, like, 9/11 or anything. We were young. We didn't see that. So this was, like, the most crazy moment that we've seen in, like, politics in our entire life by far.
I was actually at the mall when it happened, and I just got a text from Brock in our group chat. He was like, dude, Trump just got shot. So I opened up X, trying to see what's going on, and I found a video, and I was in a store, and I was like, Trump just got shot. And everyone was like, no way. Everyone surrounded around me, and we watched the video on the phone. It was absolutely insane.
So you see Trump take a bullet. So it was a headshot. We were talking to security experts. They're like, no, that's called a headshot. Just call it what it is. They shot him in the head. You see him go down. Your heart stops. And then you see him get up and do the blood on the face, like fist pump. What's your reaction to that?
Absolutely. I was jaw dropped. That was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like, iconic moment.
That is a straight up, most savage moment.
It just show you how strong Trump is compared to Biden, because Biden's just going on the stage, going to sleep. So imagine what Biden would have done.
To me, it was like in a football game when the star player gets hurt and then he comes back out in the game and everyone gets hyped. That's exactly what it was like for me. Like the team now, the whole team is like, okay, we rocking behind the quarterback now.
Yes.
I actually got chills seeing him scream, fight, because I'm like, fight for what? You know, I'm a young guy. I don't understand. Like, I understand a little bit what's going on, but like that's insane that actually happened. So I had actual chills seeing him say, fight. What are we fighting from? You know?
Yeah, and then he got shot in the head, and then we see him that night going down the stairs of his plane, and he does the stairs better than Joe Biden after getting shot in the head.
Play golf the next day.
He goes golfing.
Yeah, that's right. And now he's here. And then he walks out last night like a gangster through the tunnel, UFC entrance.
That was insane. You literally can't stop. He should have came out. If he comes out Thursday, I hope he comes out to Many Men by 50 Cent.
That's right. So they just confirmed that 50 Cent's here.
Oh, what?
And that he might perform.
That'll be
so
insane.
It might be a live performance with Trump walking out.
Wow.
And we know that Donald Trump by Mac Miller was a #1 selling record. That was a platinum record.
I remember when that came out when I was in middle school. Banger.
Yes.
We played that so much in middle school.
So why not? Right? Why not?
Why not?
I totally endorse that plan. Your thoughts?
100%. I endorse it too.
Okay.
That would be an iconic moment. I
Chairman of
get
the
that on
RNC
camera.
and Lara Trump were just here, and they're like, yeah, 50 Cent's here.
Oh, wow.
I think that's a really good thing, too, just for the whole Republican Party in general, because I feel like the Democratic Party for all these years has used like rappers and influencers, especially with the black community, to influence their vote. So I feel like, let's use them to tell the truth.
Yeah. I also agree. I think it's great for the party. Like, young people are going to love that. It's going to be viral everywhere. Everyone's going to love that. And the fact that, 50 Cent's endorsing Trump on his own. Like, he's been a Trump advocate on social media. So the fact that he's going to come and perform, oh, man, that's huge.
Yeah, I think it's authentic, man, because I really feel like 50 Cent really does endorse Trump. When Kamala Harris called into the BET, that pissed me off so bad. Like, that was terrible. They not like us.
Yeah, that's right.
What the heck?
We out here in these streets.
Out here in these streets, girl.
What? Shut up.
I heard some things.
She's so corny.
Yeah.
Did you guys do a video to that?
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So, well, what is Kamala Harris? Can you explain that to me? What's that she's like really, really cringe?
Oh, 100%. I think she's a chameleon. I think she does like the Hillary Clinton. She panders for votes.
Yeah.
Like when Hillary Clinton was like, I got hot sauce in my purse. I think Kamala Harris took that and ran with it.
Yeah.
I think that's her whole identity.
But it's like Hillary Clinton if she was like mentally handicapped, because Kamala Harris like doesn't make any sense the way she speaks English. Gypsy curses, right? Is what Tim Dillon says. You know, you think you fell out of a coconut tree?
Yeah, I still don't know what she
What's
meant
wrong?
by that.
Yeah,
Like, I still don't know.
Don't be encumbered by what has been.
That's the worst thing she's ever repeated over and over and over. Like, ma'am, that never made sense the first time. You don't need to say it 100 more times.
It leave me confused all the time. Every time she say it, man.
I got into an Uber last night, and it was late. And the guy had a MAGA hat on, and dude was young. And he's like, yeah, I'm from Milwaukee, and I never voted before, and nothing could stop me from voting for Trump after I saw him get shot. Are you seeing that energy in your comment section, in your chat? Like, where people are like, yeah, I'm now all in because I watched the man take a bullet for this country.
People I never seen before that didn't support him at first is supporting him now, and it's just amazing to see. Like, Sauce Gardner, one of my favorite defensive corners, just to see him say, I'm with Trump now, it just makes me just so happy to see that.
Yeah, people who like aren't really into politics that are just like my friends from back home who I know for a 100% fact were not Trump supporters all came out and like tweeted very positive things about Trump. And I was like, wow, like I would never expect you to say that. So I said it on the video, I was like, the Trump assassination attempt was extremely sad, but at the same time, now what came from it, I really do believe that it helped. Like it did help.
I also agree. I think that the assassination attempt just really was like insane to see for young people, like especially like our age. I mean, you read it in history, you hear about it in history. It's never something that I thought I would witness in my life. So the fact that we saw him almost get assassinated and then get up in no fear, pumping his fist. I mean, how can you not support that? I think the Trump campaign is now stronger more than ever.
There's nothing lamer than being a Joe Biden voter right now.
Oh, 100% facts.
100%.
Right? Like, you don't show your face. Right? Like, if you got a little Biden shirt on, like,
It's terrible.
you're cooked, man.
It's terrible.
Yeah,
Facts.
okay. Right? I mean, am I wrong? Like,
You're not wrong at all.
Like
We know exactly.
indefensible. Like,
That's facts.
Yeah, okay.
You're definitely 100% soy if you're still voting for Joe Biden.
Even on CNN, like after the debate, I've never seen them grill Joe Biden so bad. I was like, whoa, is this the right channel I'm watching? Like, are they really saying these things? It was like they were backed into a corner to where like they couldn't lie for him anymore. The truth was exposed that he's not capable, and they had their best bet was to just tell the truth for the first time ever.
Yeah.
I'm a millennial, right? Gen Z.
Yeah.
Gen Z, according to all available reports, especially men, is like going like for Trump. And there's an article every day saying, my God, Donald Trump's winning the youth vote. How is this possible? How is it possible? You know, this is your generation doing this for Trump. Can you explain that?
I think it's personally just like Trump's just more interesting than any political candidate we've ever seen. Like a billionaire from New York. And then he comes out, he's not like spitting like that politician rhetoric where they're trying to campaign. He's real. Like he's making fun of reporters and stuff. It's funny. It's just easy to support him because you know what you're gonna get. He's real and like he's a businessman trying to run the nation like a business, and that's just appealing to young people like myself and others.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's his personality 100%.
Yeah.
His aura's through the roof.
Yes. Because he talks shit. Right? He's like mean, you know? It's like mean. There's what's the comedian? Shane Gillis. Who does the impression, right?
Yeah, good.
He died like a dog. Right? Yeah. We cry baby Baghdaddy. Yeah. Don't cry.
I think a lot of it is Gen Z grew up seeing social media like our whole lives, right? So I feel like it's easier for us to identify when someone is acting and is fake, and a lot of politicians are.
Yes.
And it's easy to tell that Trump is authentic and he's real. So people in Gen Z, I think they really like and respect that.
Okay. So, final very big question for you boys. The changing media landscape. I expect you, so you can go inside the RNC right now and you can see booths for big networks. But I have a feeling in the next conventions, you guys will be the ones in those booths. And
we have a booth right now.
Yes, right. But inside the convention, from the floor. Yeah. Because they'll be like, this is a real audience. And I see you guys' comment section. It's smoked. I mean, you guys get such great engagement. And can you talk about what it's like to have a real audience that's like really growing and that actually like knows you, interacts with you, and feels like the energy of your channel, right? Like what does that mean to actually have a connection with your audience? And then where does that go, where does that go in the future? Because that's really powerful.
I think it's just a huge blessing. It's really cool. So we've been doing it for about 4 years now.
Yeah.
So they really watched us grow and change. Like I was 21 when I started. I'm 25 now. Our first video, we were literally at a Black Lives Matter rally. Like we have a BLM poster in the beginning videos we used to post years ago. So that's why I think that's one thing they really like about independent media rather than like, the big time media, because we say what we truly think. We get on there, we argue with the video, we get on there, we argue with each other. So it's like, this is what our true opinion really is, and it's changed. And over like 4 years, we have grown a lot. So people comment all the time like, oh my gosh, like a couple years ago, y'all were kids, and like we were college kids, and now we're like grown adults, and we're seeing how the things that you vote affect you, and it's been a huge blessing, and it's really cool.
That's incredible.
I'll just say I'm thankful for our audience, to have them watching us from when we first started to now. It's just a blessing, man.
Yes.
It's just, they watched us come from nothing just to see us shine now, and they keep supporting us through everything we have been through, and it's just a blessing.
No, like you said, like having an audience that engages with us and knows our names and stuff, it's very motivating. Like it makes you want to just like keep giving them what they want and keep putting out good content. And like we take it super serious now. Like we shoot up to the event with suits on, like just because we know our audience would be here, and like so we could be taken serious. And like to see it grow and continue to develop and morph into what it is, I mean, we want to continue to build it and make it a more business so we can be a reputable source, like you said, and have something on the floor and continue to grow it and make it sustainable for years to come.
Yes, that's right. So shout out to the subs.
Shout out to the subscribers.
The subs, yes.
You guys keep us going.
All right,
Love y'all.
last word, man. How about it? Also, please shout out the channel right now.
Yeah, Cartier Family, guys. Look it up on YouTube, Cartier Family with a Z on X. I just feel like the narratives that have been pushed at these type of events, and people tell us the people in our comments are racist, MAGA Republicans and stuff like that, and we come to these events and we get nothing but love.
Yes.
So it's been amazing. We love everybody at all these events, man, and we appreciate you, Benny, man, a lot.
Wow, I'm really looking forward to the announcement of you guys speaking on stage in 2028.
That'd be awesome.
Would be the next one. Yeah.
That'd be awesome,
All
man.
right. All right. I'll be in the audience saying, I know those guys. I know them. Can I get a selfie? Thank you, boys. All right.
Thank you so much, Benny.
Hey. Subscribe to the channel. It's Jack Brewer. What's going on, man? Bringing the book. What's happening? How are we doing, man? Look at that. He brought the word.
Word of God, man.
Okay. I'm going to let you preach. I'm going to start you off, though.
No,
we all witnessed a miracle, didn't we?
We did.
The world witnessed possibly the most, this is what I would like to call it, the most widely seen, widely observed miracle in history. That people saw, right? Of course, many hundreds of millions have read this. But people physically saw, some of them live, but all of them on social media, a miracle with President Trump.
And you cannot dispute it. And so when you look at it, I mean, I tell you, I was just talking to Brooke Rollins, who runs America First Policy Institute, my dear sister. In the moment that it happened, Benny, it was 6:11 p.m. when that first shot rang off. And Ephesians 6:11 says, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. So God was affirming his word for the whole world to see.
Gave me chills. You just gave me chills.
For the whole world to see, God affirmed his word through a man that has been persecuted, right? Just like so many in the Bible were persecuted, disciples are persecuted, and people say, oh, don't worship a man. No one's worshiping a man, but you can see Christ and you can see the hand of God through his anointed people. And no one can deny now that Donald J. Trump was anointed for this time that we're living in. He spared his life, and he showed that his hand is the most powerful, not President Trump's. Yep. President Trump's hand is not the most powerful, but the hand of God, which made him turn his head at a millisecond time.
Yes.
And in any hunter, any military person that you speak to, anyone that knows anything about shooting, about guns, about anything, they will tell you that was the hand of God.
So I'm almost sure we have the clip. We can't play it right now, but I'm almost sure we have the clip. You've come on our program, live on our air, and called Donald Trump bulletproof.
Yep.
You've done it. Because you know him personally. You've worked with him. You've worked on agendas with him. And you were right.
And when I say he's bulletproof, it's because you can feel his anointing. His words, when he speaks, he's a prophet. He doesn't, I don't even know if he realizes he has the gift of prophecy and the prophetic gift, but he has the prophetic gift. When he says that something happens, usually it happens. And so we have to listen to the word of God. God doesn't always speak to us in our ears. God speaks to us through people. And so at some point we have to realize when the hand of God is speaking, and we have to humble ourselves, walk in righteousness, stay close and stay yoked to the Holy Spirit, and we can hear the voice of God.
Stay yoked. I love that. That's amazing. Yes, stay yoked. This should be the new campaign slogan. Stay yoked or bulletproof. We'll test it.
We'll take both.
Test it, yes.
Yeah, we will take both.
I want you to speak really quickly to your experience with Donald Trump, because there's a lot of people who do not have the same experience, who are quite shocked at what they're seeing on stage.
Right.
They're seeing everyone from the Teamsters president to rappers to members of Congress to Tucker Carlson sitting next to Trump last night, and they're like, what happened to my granddaddy's Republican Party? This is unrecognizable in a good way. Right? And but you've known that Donald Trump for a long time. You've known that like big picture, big tent Donald Trump in a long time.
No question. I met President Trump at his golf course. I'm the former New York Giant. I come in, lifelong Democrat, ran Barack Obama's NFL Players for Obama, big surrogate.
You ran that?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I didn't just run it. I founded it.
Wow.
And so I hear this guy speak, and the things he's talking about. I'm going into the inner city communities. I'm going into the prisons. I'm helping folks, and I'm listening to what this guy's saying. And this guy's talking about things that are going to actually help my people that I'm trying to help every day. And I'm listening to the left that's telling them that they're victims, that are not encouraging them to go out and work, but to take welfare. And so as you start to listen to these things, I'm like, wait a minute, man, this is real. And I had just gotten from Baltimore, Maryland, doing a football camp in one of the worst areas of Baltimore, in the hood, man. I mean, boarded up stuff everywhere. And I got back and I told Donald Trump about my experience in Baltimore, and that as a kid who was the first to graduate from college in his family, a kid that was the first to really make it out, to go back into that black community and see so many of those little boys who had more athletic ability than I have, but because of the situation they were in, they never get that opportunity. It hurt me. I told President Trump that, and he came out immediately and start saying that we needed to do some more about Baltimore. And what does he do? He finds a solution for it. And what's that solution? It was opportunity zones, which Brooke Rollins and so many of the folks at America First Policy actually worked on. And so he didn't just see a problem and say, hey, there's a problem. Let's talk about it. Let's be woke about it. Let's inflame everybody to get up with their emotions about it. He put a policy solution to a social issue. And most people just can't do that, Benny.
So this shouldn't shock you. This Republican Party that you're seeing right now, this man doesn't shock you at all.
Not at all.
Because you actually know this man.
127 songs. You guys look it up and fact check me. They like the left loves the fact check, right? Fact check me. 127 rap songs talked about Donald Trump before he ran for office. 127. Fact check me, Benny.
I believe you. I believe you.
I mean, the man used to be in the studio with Wu-Tang Clan. Now, all of a sudden, these racists get out of here, man. This man, he speaks truth. A lot of people can't handle the truth. When you talk about, they forget the word of God talks about division, right? And just to take a little bit of scripture here. Jesus said he didn't come here to bring peace, but a sword, to turn fathers against their sons and mothers against their daughters. What he was saying is truth sometimes divides us, Benny. And if you want me to lie to you, right? If you want me to tell you that a man can go play sports against a woman, if you want me to tell you that, that's a lie. That is going to naturally cause division, and that's what Trump does. He speaks truth into people.
So you're going to work in the second administration. I mean, I can already hear it. You're going to go to Washington, D.C. You're going to shake some things up, sir. I can already see it. I can see it.
Benny, when
You've already worked for the president before, is that
yes,
correct?
so actually, I think myself and maybe Larry Elder are still the only active Trump appointees. So I still work as a commissioner for the U.S. Civil Rights Commission. So we both represent the commission on the social status of black men and boys, in which I proudly serve on and will continue to serve on unless President Trump comes in and wants to appoint someone else. And so they kept me there, and I think they kept me there because we're in the prisons, man. We distribute 100,000 pounds of food to Americans every week. We go into prisons and jails and bring fathers and help put them into the homes. But we do those things because of America First policies. We do those things because we understand that it doesn't matter if it's a populist perspective. What actually matters is if you're uplifting people, right? And so when a kid goes to school and you're sticking them into these public schools that don't work, when my black kid, because I can afford it, goes to a private school and he makes straight A's. But the black kid that doesn't have the resources, that lives in a blue state that won't give him school choice, he's locked up and imprisoned in his own country. Donald Trump understands that, and he wants to set the captives free, Benny.
Oh, man, I wish so badly you could debate Kamala Harris.
Any day, any time.
I just so wish for it. She'd get you with her coconut tree line, too. You'd think you fell out of a coconut tree.
I know, but sometimes when you can tell by someone's words what they're speaking, right? The Bible says you know them by their fruit, right? And you know them by their fruit. What policy?
Or their coconuts.
Or their
It depends on the translation, Jack. Jack, depends on the translation.
Exactly.
We don't know.
I think that's NIV. No, but the Democratic Party right now, they know that they're backpedaling. They realize the impact of their policy. Yes. And so they're trying to take what Donald Trump did, whether it's HBCUs, and they're trying to take credit for those things. They're taking what Donald Trump did when it comes to the tax plan and trying to say that they are the ones that actually created jobs. And so they're trying to distort reality across the board. And I think if you listen to Amber Rose last night, right, who I thought did an incredible job of articulating that message to a population that normally wouldn't listen. Yes. And so I applauded her for that. And if you listen to what she said, I think that is the biggest threat to the Democratic Party, is that now African Americans like myself, people that speak into a different population, are now being heard and able to actually articulate not what President Trump is going to do, but we're talking about what he's already done.
So my question to you, and I know that you and the president speak with regularity, my question to you and my final question to you is, what is your encouragement to the president through November? What do you say to him?
I think what we all witnessed.
Because you came up here ready to preach.
Glory to God.
You came up here with power, Jack.
Glory to God.
Yeah.
What we all witnessed was God's hand on a man that if you have a son, you want him to look up to him.
Yes.
And that's what we need right now today in the United States of America, is we need a strong father figure to lead this nation back to righteousness. And we have 23 million fatherless kids across the nation. That's a big number. We're the largest fatherless population in the entire world per capita. And so when you have a nation like that has so many ills that are happening to it from all over the place, you got to start rebuilding the fabric of your nation. You got to rebuild the foundation of your nation. And that starts in our fatherless homes. That's going to help these women who are single moms that are dealing with inflation, that are dealing with the lack of education for their kids. You start dealing with fatherlessness, you're going to end some of these crazy sentences and criminal justice injustices that are happening across our nation, and help put these fathers in prison back in the home so they can become taxpayers and build this nation again.
Yes.
You're going to stop the migrant crisis, which is pulling military-age men who are fathers from their houses in Guatemala and El Salvador and all these other countries, so that they stay at home in their own country and take care of their kids the way that they need to do it. Donald Trump represents that. Look at his children. His children are smart, articulate, and if you're a parent, you look up to that man for the father that he is. That's what I would encourage Donald Trump to do, is continue to be close with God and understand that God has anointed him to be the father figure for America.
Man, that's why they call them the Founding Fathers.
Glory to God.
The new Founding Fathers. Jack, God bless you, man.
Love you, Benny.
All right.
Anytime, man.
Okay.
Anytime, and I'm going to send you a Bible,
I'll see
too.
you when you're in charge of the Department of Education or the NFL or one of them. All right?
God bless you.
God bless you, man. Woo! Jack Brewer, ladies and gentlemen. Just a note to the audience, we will be going live to the GOP convention. A programming note, Vivek Ramaswamy, who was just on this stage. It's still smoking from that, him and Eric Trump being on this stage. Vivek Ramaswamy will be speaking at 7:30 Central Time. 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, and so we'll be going live for that. And Cory Mills, Congressman from the great state of Florida, is with us right now. What's going on, Congressman?
Well, I think you know what's going on, and I think I'm doing a good job of pissing off CNN, apparently.
You're pissed off CNN. Oh, man. CNN's like, yeah, totally, there should be a shooter within, that's just the way it works, There should be a shooter within 100 yards of the president. No, there shouldn't, I think, right? Or maybe I'm wrong.
Well,
You're the sniper.
I can tell you, I ran counter-sniper teams in Afghanistan and in Iraq. I've done it for then Vice President Biden in northern Iraq. I've done it for Condoleezza Rice. I've done it for Hillary Clinton. I've done it for many foreign dignitaries, etc. And I can tell you, when we used to conduct, and I've conducted thousands and thousands of advances, you looked at what areas could be potential threat areas, and you would mitigate those by either putting someone there, or you would basically go ahead and think about a venue change location. You would think about all these different circumstances that we'd actually factor in. Now, here's the interesting part about this. Let's just for a moment, and I want to be clear on this, I want to understand that this is just negligence, fecklessness, and that DEI equals DIE.
Yes.
But what I don't like is that I can't help myself from getting to a point of intent. And this is why I feel so strongly about the investigation and ensuring that we get full transparency, accountability to the American people, because we've almost lost our president that was within milliseconds and millimeters from being an attempt and an assassination. And this was completely preventable. When you think about this for a moment, that building behind you is roughly about 120 yards. Imagine the fact that this is a building that's 160 yards, perfectly adjacent to the stage, with a slightly sloped roof, which apparently, according to Cheadle's, was such a slope as if it was Everest. They couldn't get on it. I can tell you, as a counter sniper, we would get on roofs that were far greater, as far as its slope. And it was great because you could hang your bipod over the edge of it and get a very stable platform that you could pull back against. And so that was an excuse. Secondarily, if there wasn't any resources, why couldn't they have done this? Why couldn't they have parked a patrol car, locked the doors, kept the lights going as a deterrency, or put an officer at the main entrance so that you could basically look at what are the permissible climbing environment that could allow them onto the rooftops? The bottom line is that there's too many things that needs answers.
Yes.
And we're just very fortunate, and I will tell you this is divine intervention, Benny. This is Ephesians 6 of wearing the armor of God. And
Yes.
bear in mind, he was shot at 6:11. Go read Ephesians 6:11. But I will tell you, this is a man who stood not in fear, but in defiance and courage. And his fight, fight, fight cry was fight for Americans, fight for America, fight for our Constitution. He put his life on the line for us. The least that we can do is give this man a chance to take this country and save it once again.
So you have a Cheadle in front of you on a congressional testimony dais. Clearly, you're going to be one of the people who will ask her a question, or absolutely should, with your background. What if some of the first questions you ask, she was walking through a revolving door as we were walking in last night. She's here, right? Maybe she's listening to you right now. But what questions do you ask? Because clearly, and I know this really bothers CNN, who loves to trust the government, which is an incredible change in the media, actually. Trust everything the government says forever. What do you ask her?
Well, the first thing I'm going to ask for is communication transcripts, if they have any. What was the actual sniper dialogue? When did the actual snipers identify that it was a threat? Because at 160, you're not only seeing it with the naked eye as you can with the building behind us, but then you're going into your, let's just say it's a 4.5 by 14 by 50 scope. You're talking about a 14 magnification. I can see the buttons on your shirt at 160 yards. And so you can clearly identify that it's not a local law enforcement officer up there, and so you're not in fear of actually eliminating a friendly. So at that point, when did you identify that it was an enemy combatant? Why did you not have a emergency comms channel with the coordination of your local law enforcement, your Secret Service, and other agencies that you could have immediately, because remember, the local law enforcement said he got up there and they pointed a rifle at him. He could have came off that roof and said, sniper on the roof, sniper on the roof, sniper on the roof. They would have immediately got a secret detail on there, took him down, and that shot would not have taken place while they mitigate. There's too much about this that I want to know about, and the communications, the coordination, the advanced site plan, the sniper's range data book where they have to sketch in what they are looking at out there and what their range span is. All of these things will determine whether or not it was negligence, intent, or they'd identified it as a threat and they did nothing about it.
It doesn't make you a conspiracy theorist to ask questions. In fact, having skepticism is necessary in all life. And
we're supposed to what if everything.
Skepticism is when, like, you see a hobo with a bloody machete, like, hulking down the street. You're like, I'm going to go to the other side of the street, okay? Like, that's
exactly right.
Being a skeptic is necessary to survive in life, and asking these questions doesn't make you a conspiracist.
That's where we get sound investigations. Is whenever in the military we used to do the what if game all the time.
Yeah.
What if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? And you plan for every single scenario. Now, Murphy's Law being what it is, it does occur sometimes and it's unpreventable. But you've always laid out multiple scenarios of what possibly could happen and how to mitigate that threat. That should have been done in this. So now in my investigation, the what if is, what if someone was involved here? What if there was gross negligence here? What if someone was not on their post? What if the director did not approve the additional resources and therefore she is accountable and needs to be held responsible and liable? So there's a lot of things in my what ifs. There's a lot of things in my skepticism because of my background, because of my experience, because of my intense knowledge of these types of things that leads us to the thing where the American people, and I don't want this behind closed doors. I do not believe in classifying this in any way. It needs to be available to the American people. They need to be accountable. They need to be transparent. They need to be accessible, something that every elected official should be. But we have to start understanding I am paid and elected by the American people. Everything that I do and how I conduct myself in my job is in the eyes of the American people for the American people. And so I want this investigation, a J13 commission, the same way that they were looking at this J6 unselect committee.
You want a select committee on this?
I want a select committee on this, and I'll tell you one of my reasons why.
Would you chair it?
I would absolutely be happy to chair it. And
Have
I'll
you
tell
told
you right
Mike
now,
Johnson that?
I texted him today and I told him, I said, with my background experience and what I know of this, I'd be happy to go ahead and do a chair of the J13 commission style select committee. And I want answers. I want accountability.
Subpoena power
and I want,
right now, yeah.
But here's the other thing. If it was just negligence, the American people need to have confidence that there's policies and replacements that have been made that not allow this to happen again. And if there was actual government involvement, they should know that as well.
Yes. Bro, like, if there's like an Uber driver that, like, misses enough rides, they don't get to be on Uber anymore. Yet I saw Kim Cheadle yesterday, and the president got a headshot, a successful headshot, right? Like, they shot him in the head. Is this correct? Like, tactically, a part of his head is gone, right? So they shot the president in the head, and she gets to keep her damn job?
Look,
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Well, you're not taking crazy pills. They actually want you to believe that saying mea culpa, my fault, my bad, hey, JK, LOL, everything's going to be fine. Accountability is different than responsibility. Yes, I'm responsible for an incident because I am a leader. Well, you should be held accountable as well. And I can tell you, my first thing is I want her to resign, even though I'm still going to request her for testifying. And if she doesn't, we'll subpoena her. If not, we'll hold her in contempt. But I also want to do the Homan rule that takes her salary down to $1.
Yes.
And then we'll see if she still remains for the right reason, which is to serve. I want to see their 30 for 30 DEI rule that they were trying to bring in. That was not going to bring in the best. It was going to bring in people that had this percentage of female, this percentage of minorities, this percent. When you're talking about the protection of the United States president, that is not to be done by diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's to be done by meritocracy and who's the very best.
Yes. Yes. Well, I mean, you could argue everything in the country should act. We had a much better country when the best people got the jobs.
And that's who should still get the jobs.
Yes. Okay. So, quick personal question. Would you take the DHS role if Donald Trump offered it to you? Because then you'd be in charge of the Secret Service. It's problem solved, right?
Well, look, I would do anything that the president needs as far as how it would help and save the country, how I can serve in a better capacity. I served in uniform. I've served him even in the private sector when I would create a business that helped our law enforcement and our military. And now I'm serving in honor of our Florida 7th District, an honor to do so. But if the president called me and asked for my support, it'd be difficult for me not to go ahead and say, yes, sir, I'll be right there, and I can do it better, and I'll get it done.
We would love to see that, man. Oh, we would love to see that select committee. You chairing that select committee would be baller. That would be incredible.
Well, let's get your viewers and everyone to go ahead and blow Mike Johnson and the rest of them up to get this J13 committee going. Get me in front of that chair. Watch what I do to hold accountability. Yep. Watch the subpoenas that I issue, and watch how I won't wait until after an election to start going ahead and holding people accountable and bringing them into a testimony.
I'm going to tweet it every day. Okay, executive producers right there, ALX. We're going to tweet every day, why is Cory Mills not in charge of a select committee at Mike Johnson? This absolutely must happen. You must
But there's one other thing that we got to add to this, and I'll just say. The J6 committee was warranted because of the president saying, go home peacefully, but that was inciting violence. What about Joe Biden, who said it's time to put Donald Trump as a bullseye?
That's exactly right.
How is that not a J13-style investigation as well? How are we not holding accountability for their words and their rhetoric? Or Maxine Waters get in the face of your elected officials when we saw the riots, which they called mostly peaceful protests? Let's actually stop playing defense, play offense. Let's use the actual things that they try to weaponize against us on them, and let's turn the tables for once and actually act like a Republican and a conservative with a spine.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I can see criminal charges for everybody responsible here because men died. Like good men, firefighters, law enforcement officials died. And somebody needs to be held accountable.
Amen.
Yeah, right. Charge them with homicide or at least negligence.
That's right.
That led to a homicide.
And again, I think that we can look at this and there's nothing else that screams massive security breach and negligence like getting the president of the United States shot when it could have been prevented.
How about just like the people at the rally? Shouldn't you have the freedom to go to a rally and feel like you're secure in America?
It absolutely should. And I want to say the fire chief who lost his life, Cory.
Compatory. Yep.
A hero, a dedicated father and husband, and someone that we should absolutely remember the name of. You know, we've neglected remembering the name of our heroes, like Joe Biden did in our State of the Union for our 13 brave fallen heroes in Afghanistan.
Right.
We've continued to ignore the people who have been willing to fight and die, who are true patriots, who want a better republic, and we are a constitutional republic. And so I don't want his name and his family to not realize how much we appreciate him being there to support our president, and that this is going to actually make us even more fiery to go out and save this country.
We're going to say his name, Cory Compatory. That's
Cory
exactly
Compatory.
right. Beautiful message. An incredible way to end the... You want to see him in charge of a select committee to drag these people up? Yeah, today. That's right. Mike Johnson, we're going to make him hear it. Thank you. Thank you, Congressman.
So much.
God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you guys.
All right. Rock and roll. CNN, cry more. CNN, cry more. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. What a remarkable evening tonight. We just want to thank everybody who's been out here. There's been hundreds and hundreds of people seeing some of the greatest speakers, people who will be speaking right now. And don't go away because we're going to go directly to the Republican National Convention. In moments, you'll see Vivek Ramaswamy from the main stage, followed by a slate of just baller speakers. Just bombshell after bombshell tonight. It's going to be awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here. Thank you to our broadcast partners, Real America's Voice, and thank you so much to our sponsors, Patriot Mobile, in the house, and to all of our incredible guests, the Trumps, Vivek, the members of Congress, all of them. God bless you. God bless America. Let's go win, baby. I feel that energy. We feel that energy. Yes. We're going to win. Going live to the Republican National Convention right now. Your boy Benny, out of here.
Never give up on President Trump, and we will never give up on the United States of America. God bless you, God bless President Donald J. Trump, and God bless the United States of America.